Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Donna Just Being Real. My channel is all about dating, love, relationships, toxic relationship advice channel. And we're getting into this is a really sad story. This is really insane. This is a trial that's been going on, but it has been postponed for a minute, and I don't know when they're going to start again. But we're just watching like the recaps. We're going to focus on day 3. Amie Harwick murder trial by creep ex-boyfriend Stalker Gareth Pursehouse, whatever this creep's name is, right? This creep, OMG, this one right here. I mean, you could just look at him and tell something wrong with him, right? And they was like in a relationship together. I think they actually lived together at one point, but he was abusive to her, so she got rid of him. And this was years ago. I believe in 2012. I could be wrong about the dates. I got to get these dates down. Like I said, I'm kind of following with y'all, ladies and gentlemen, all right? And whoever's coming in here, please make sure you hit the like button. And the people's watching replay, hit the like. Share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. And also share me out in your social media too. All right, so let's get back to this creep here. So they was together, but it was years ago. And I think it was about almost 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, they broke up, something like that, right? And she had got order protection on him because he's a stalker, he's crazy, right? But this man was still obsessed with her for so many years. Are you flipping kidding me? You have to get a life. And I think it was like about a month, or I did some commentaries. This is the third time doing commentary. So anybody wants to know, go back to the past commentary, read the description so you can get an idea what this trial is about, right? So I'm like, wait a minute. So they broke up. What was I up to? They broke up, whatever. She got order protection. This was about like almost 10 years ago. So she was able to dodge him all this time. Thank God. But then they bumped up at some sort of event, right? Adult entertainment event. I guess he's a photographer or something like that. So they bumped up at the event. And he just went like kind of like fool on her. You ruined my life and this. Are you kidding me, sir? Get your own life. Well, you know what your new life is going to be right now? It's going to be in prison. That's your new life right now. And you did it to yourself. He basically tried to inject her with something, I think nicotine, and then threw her off the balcony. Are you flipping kidding me? This is what I be saying, ladies and gentlemen. There are cameras everywhere. You cannot do a crime out here. See, you look at this picture here with the red face that's right here. That was at the event. That's when she bumped up him at the event. Now, you can't do a crime out here. There's cameras everywhere. Everybody has cameras. If you don't have a camera, your neighbor has a camera. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all hear sounds in the back, I have a baby kitten, and she's full of energy. Okay, she's just so much full of energy. So, excuse me. So, everywhere has cameras. And you can see the cameras of him going in, running around the place. I don't know. It's just so much. But we're going to get into it. So, we're going to focus on day 3. All right? Day 3. Where am I at? Day 3. But what I'm going to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, when I do recaps, we do it on a faster speed. Yes, a faster speed. So it's going to be on speed 1.5. All right? And if it's too fast for you, what you do is you just slow it down on your end. Okay? But make sure you hit the like, share your thoughts. And if you need to reach out to me, look in the description. You'll find my email. If you have a viewer's request, or you need to speak to me about something, or if you need coaching in dating, love, relationship, toxic relationship, feel free to contact me and we'll go from there. All right, so we're going to get into this one. And blessings to everybody who came in. Don't forget, hit the like, share me out in your social media, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback, all that good stuff. And I see you, Lisa. Hey, Lisa. I see you. All right. Well, I just told you the script, so I guess you get it now. But if you need more clarity, anybody, make sure you read the description. And Mod on deck strong in the house while watching the football game. Hey, Donna and chat. Much love. Love to you too. All right, let's get into this one here. This guy is really pathetic. I mean, literally pathetic. 10 years? The fear that she was living with? Dealing with this?
First house, the witness has taken a stand. Just a reminder that you're still under oath.
Oh, and I forgot to tell you, she's a big time Hollywood sex therapist too.
TV's on.
Mr. Herman, well, that's they're working on the TV. We left off where you heard something woke you up. Can you, just so we could go back in time, what woke you up?
A sound that I thought was a...
Now, this guy's on the stand is her roommate. Okay, her roommate. He's on. I had left off on last time because I did the openings. I did a video with the opening statements, and the second one was day 2. Now we're doing day 3. Let's get it.
Glass plate hitting the floor or breaking when it hit the floor.
And then the second time you woke up, what woke you up?
Amie screaming.
And how loud were her screams?
They were very loud.
And about how much time from the time you heard that glass breaking earlier on, about how much time passed to when you heard her screaming? Approximately.
I mean, probably around 4 hours, I'm guessing. I'm not guessing, I'm estimating.
So you hear the glass break at some point, and about 4 hours later, you hear her screaming.
Yes.
And could you tell what she was screaming?
It was just blood curdling, just screams. Like, yeah.
And so that woke you up.
Yes.
And so when, as you wake up, do you continue to hear the screaming?
Yes.
And where are you when you wake up?
I'm on the couch in my bedroom.
Looking here at people's number 19C, is the window to the right of this photograph. Is that part of your bedroom?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Looking at photograph D of this exhibit. Can you tell us what it's showing here?
It's showing my bedroom.
Okay, does it show the location where you were sleeping?
It does.
And where would that be?
That would be on the couch in the left corner of the
And
photo.
is that over here where you see some pillows and like a gray
Yep.
blanket or something?
Correct.
So you wake up, and as you wake up, you continue to hear screaming.
Yes.
And what do you do at that point?
It takes me a minute. Kind of wake up and I really thought she saw a mouse or something, and I gradually get to the door and I realize it's not stopping, and I yell out to her.
Now, when you say I get to the door, what door are you talking about?
The door to my bedroom at the base of the stairs.
So here on photograph people's exhibit number 19C, you see what appears to be a door open, and there appears to be a small hallway and a staircase that leads up. Is that correct?
Yes.
So did you get to that area?
Yes.
And would your door be to the right of that?
Yes.
So as you walk to that little passageway in front of those stairs that lead up, is she still screaming?
Yes.
Are the screams the same or different?
They're the same the whole time.
Is it constant?
It was a constant yes.
And do you hear anything else other than screaming?
No.
Could you make out any voices?
No.
So what happens as you're standing?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to pause here. Who just creeped through the back door? And I've been thinking about you. Where have you been, Captain? And how are you? And blessings. Much love to you. Miss you. Where the heck have you been? What you doing? But I'm glad to see you here. Glad to see you. Hope you had yourself a great summer. Summer's over now, right? Heading into fall. But good to see you, Captain. Good to see you. All right, reason.
Standing there in that little passageway in front of those stairs.
I yell her name.
And you already yelled it, and what the words that you used were what?
Amie.
And you yelled it in the tone of voice you did yesterday?
Yeah, but louder.
Even louder than what you yelled here in court?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you say that?
Just because I don't think I've ever heard myself yell like that before.
How were you feeling in that moment when you're yelling out her name?
It's really hard to describe. It was really like shock, adrenaline rush, kind of can't believe this is really happening, kind of.
And so after you, when you yell out Amie, is Amie still screaming?
She is when I yell it out.
And how about after you yell it out, what happens? After you yell out her name, what happens?
I hear what sounded like two people hitting the floor, like somebody taking somebody else down.
Object, that's called for speculation. You describe the sound.
Well, you said it sounded like if two people were hitting the floor. Is that what you said? Is that
Like
what
somebody, yes, like when somebody takes another person down.
you- Okay, that's what it sounded to you like that.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what it sounded to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you hear that sound of, it sounds like someone was taken down, do you hear screaming at the same time?
That's around the time I hear it get muffled.
What does that mean around the time it gets muffled?
It sounded like her mouth was being covered.
And why would you say that?
Like article for speculation.
Well, I'm not so sure that her or whatever, but when you say, his next question was, and I'll reserve my ruling, why would you say that? What makes you conclude that it sounded like someone's mouth was being covered?
Because it was like the sound of somebody screaming and then screaming through something. Like the level of the sound changed as if what it would sound exactly like if you put my hand over my mouth.
Okay, I'll
Okay. So that's how it sounded to you?
Yeah.
As if someone was covering her mouth?
Yes.
And so at that point, did you hear any more screaming from Amie?
On and off.
Was the screaming as loud as before, or was it different?
It was different.
How so?
It was sounded like it was being muffled.
And so for how long did that go on where she sounds like she's being muffled to you?
it's hard for me to remember exact times because, yeah.
What would be your best estimate? Just, was it seconds? Was it a minute? If you didn't even know.
Well, she got choked, or I heard choking also for a minute.
That part was the same.
Right. Well,
Motion to strike.
Sorry.
you were not up there, were you?
No.
Sorry?
The jurors to
That they know
disregard.
that whenever I strike something, you're disregarded. It's not considered. Okay. I
Could
told
you?
that before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Could you see what was happening up there?
No, I couldn't.
Could you see what was being done to Amie up there?
No.
So, can you tell us what you heard?
Yes.
As far as sounds. So, what else did you hear?
I heard her choking.
Objection, Your Honor. Again, calls for speculation.
Okay, sustain as a phrase. Now, if you heard what sounded like someone was choking, that's different.
When you say, what exactly do you mean when you say like that she was choking? That she sounded like she was choking. What do you mean by that?
Objection that the state police
I hear these rare stories.
Again,
misleading.
you said, did it sound like someone was choking?
It did. It sounded like someone coughing strenuously.
Okay, so with respect to her choking and so forth, I will sustain it with respect to that. I'll leave it as the way you characterized it now.
So you said it sounded like someone was coughing, or like
Yes.
she was coughing.
Yes.
So at that point, she's no longer screaming.
Right.
And how long does that go on? Where it sounds like she's coughing.
That ended pretty quickly. And that actually might have been the point where I started hearing her screams and stuff get muffled.
And where were you when you're hearing all this? Bless you.
I'm still in the doorway of my bedroom.
Are you here looking at photograph C19? Are you right here on the little hallway landing? Are you on the step? Are you outside of the door towards the patio?
I'm standing like in the door frame, looking up.
I'm going to object as vague as to which door frame.
All right, let's go there.
When you say, which door frame are you talking about?
The door frame to my bedroom, it would be on the right through this picture.
Okay, so you're even more inside. You're by this little hallway next to the stairs.
Yes.
Do you say or do anything at this point when you're hearing what sounds to you like Amy's choking?
That's when I started looking for my phone.
What, do you say anything or do anything else?
I spend probably the next 4 or 5 minutes jockeying between my bed and the doorway, trying to hear if I can hear what's going on, if anybody's coming, and while jockeying back, looking for my phone, just back and forth.
Now, when you say 4 to 5 minutes, is that your time estimate?
That's an
that
estimate.
You gotta let me finish.
Sorry.
Is that the time estimate in your brain that you think that's how long it all took?
Yeah.
Do you ever yell anything else to either Amie or the person or whoever's up there with her?
Before I leave,
And what is it that you yell?
hey motherfucker.
Well, can you yell it the same way you yelled it that morning?
Probably not, but I can try. I
Go
can
ahead.
yell it. Hey motherfucker.
And why did you yell that?
In my head, I planned to run out and try and get help because I couldn't find my phone, and I thought that maybe he would be more. It would just be a distraction, that he would be worried about me in the house, and I hoped to quietly go out that he would still be that he would leave early and be more worried about me. Was what was going on in my head.
I'm going to object to the characterization as he, since he did not, Mr. Roman did not see anybody.
All right, just
Okay. Well, can the answer stand, or do you want, does it want me to ask that again?
what should I ask you?
Okay. All right. Without indicating whether it's a he or a she up there that's doing this to Amie, just a person. What did you believe by yelling, "Hey, motherfucker"? What did you believe would cause? What did you believe would happen if you said that?
I thought it would distract him,
Well,
or
say-
the person from her that I believed was in there.
And did you have any weapon on you at this point?
No,
Did you have any weapons in your room?
I had some small knives.
And in that moment, were you able to think? Were you able to grab any of those knives?
I debated it
Why didn't you run upstairs to help Amie?
because I mean, you want me to really go through why? I mean, it was a whole thought process.
Yes. Why didn't you go
Okay.
up there and help Amie?
Your Honor, this calls for a narrative.
You can answer that.
Okay. I really thought that somebody needed to know. My plan was to have the cops on the phone and walk up there with the phone on speaker. And I was worried. I'd had sciatica recently. And I just knew I wasn't in fighting shape.
What is sciatica?
It's where you have a pinched nerve and can't stand up. I mean, I got pulled out of a hotel room on a stretcher.
So why else didn't you go?
Sciatic nerve, I hear is a lot of pain. Thank God I don't have nothing like that. Woo boy. Okay, let's get back to it.
And run up there to help her.
I really was worried that if both of us were going to end up dead and that nobody would know.
Why did you think you would end up dead?
I just didn't know what I was facing. I assumed somebody, whoever was going through all that trouble. I grew up in gun culture. I couldn't imagine somebody.
This is, you know, the couple that's
Overruled. It's going to his thought process as to why he did not go, aside from being not in shape. If you felt that if you went up there, that you would also die or be hurt.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you complete your answer as to why you thought you would also be killed if you went up there?
I couldn't imagine anyone going through that without having a gun. I couldn't picture it.
So that was in your head.
Yes.
And did you have any gun on you?
No.
And after you yelled that statement of, what was the language exactly that you used?
Hey, motherfucker.
Hey, motherfucker. What happened? Did anything happen when you said that? Upstairs, I'm talking. Could you hear whether anything happened upstairs when you said that?
I couldn't hear anything.
Could you hear her screaming when you said that?
That's the answer.
Not at the point where you said that. So that's a different question.
Intermittently.
Huh?
Intermittently.
So,
But it was, yeah, not as much then. It got really.
Okay, I see Sugar Love creep through the back door, and blessings to you. Blessings. Glad to have you here. A little bit about this trial. I was just saying in the beginning, if y'all read the description so you can get an idea about what this trial is. I am not familiar with this case. Girl, this is something else. Basically, this creep right here that you see, he was dating this woman. They was together. I think they was living together for a period of time, right? Whatever. He became a little bit crazy, deranged, whatever. She got rid of him. This was about almost 10 years ago. Okay, she got order of protection and blah blah blah. Time go by. She basically was able to dodge him. Then it was some sort of adult performer, adult entertainment event. She was there. She's a Hollywood sex therapist. Okay, she was there, and she happened to see him pop up. If you look at this thumbnail, let me show the picture. And he was there at the same event too. Where is the picture? Where's the picture? There he go at this event, and he was there too. And he seen her. He was getting a little bit crazy. She was trying like to calm him down. And he told me, "You ruined my life. You ruined my life." Honey, you ruined your own life. You're going to prison now. You're going to prison. Killed this woman, tried to inject her with some nicotine or something like that and threw her off the balcony. Are you kidding me? So the person that's on the stand right now is her roommate. So he's telling about when he heard, her falling off. And, well, you listen to what he have to say on the stand. This story is completely insane. And shout out to Deb for bringing it to my attention. Let's get it. Resume. And good to see you, Sugar Love. And Elaine, blessings to you and glad to have you here this Saturday.
Quiet, which was really like creepy. Also,
you keep putting your hand on your face. Is there a reason for that?
I'm glad he asked that question. Sorry, I keep pausing here, ladies and gentlemen. So let everybody know it. When I do trial recaps, I usually put on a faster speed, and the speed is on 1.5. If it's too fast for y'all, ladies and gentlemen, you can always hit your setting, and you can slow the pace for you if it's too fast for you. But when I do recaps, I do them on a quicker speed, okay? All right, let's resume. And make sure everybody please hit that like button and read the description. Let's get it.
no.
Are you nervous?
Just itches and nervous, yeah.
Were you scared at that moment?
It was like a mix of adrenaline and fear. It's really hard to describe what I was feeling.
So after you yell, "Hey, motherfucker," what happens?
I go out the back door and close it.
And when you say the back door, is that what's shown here on people's 19C?
Yes.
Can you tell us, where do you go?
I run around. If you're facing the back of the house, what would be the right of the house?
I'm in the 50s now.
If I point, would that be where I'm pointing my finger here on this exhibit? Which would be, if you're looking at this photograph, the right of the house?
Yeah. Yes.
And what is there in that location to the right of the house?
Like a alleyway.
So like a passageway in the home?
Yeah. Not in the home, but around the home.
And where does that lead to?
The front of the house.
And what's in the front of the house?
Like a front patio.
Looking at people's exhibit number 18. This is just a 3D, just for reference, okay? With the patio on this photograph, you're looking at it. This is facing from the street, looking straight at the front of the house, correct?
Yes.
And over here to the left, is that the area that you're talking about, the passageway?
Yes.
And then there's a center courtyard?
Yeah. Yes. Front patio. Yeah.
And then what's there in that center courtyard?
Just some furniture, and a gate. And
Is that the gate? You can see a gate door right here where I'm pointing to?
yes.
Here's like a black gate.
Yeah.
When you got to that area, was the gate open, or what was the condition of the gate?
It was locked.
And so, did you run from where you heard Amie went from screaming to muffled? Did you run to the front of the house, or did you walk? How did you get to the front of the house?
I ran as fast as I could.
And when you got to the front area of the house, did you notice anything at that point?
Yes.
What did you notice?
That the gate was locked.
Did you notice anything related to the French doors that are by there?
No,
Why not?
because I was running and trying to get over the fence with my momentum as fast as I could.
And so how did you get over the gate?
I climbed over it somehow. Like, I don't remember the exact specifics because I was just so.
And is part of the gate a wrought iron?
I think almost most of it is.
And as you're climbing this wrought iron gate, does anything happen to you?
Yeah, I get cut up and a few puncture wounds.
Where did you get cut up?
On my stomach, my hand, my arm, and my crotch area on my legs.
And why did that happen?
Getting over the point, the spikes part of the wrought iron gate.
So did you go up that gate pretty quickly?
Yeah, yes, I did.
I have a 2-page document showing Mr. Michael Herman, the BSU Mike Peoples, next in order, Peoples number
You're at 20.
20.
Is it A and something?
20A and B.
All right.
And here at 20A, you recognize the individual depicted in that photograph?
Yes, it's me.
And are you wearing the clothing you were wearing at the time that you climbed over that gate?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
The clothing you're wearing on this photograph, is this the same clothing you were wearing at the time you climbed the gate?
Yes,
How do you know that?
because it's got holes in it.
Looking at photograph B. You recognize what's shown there?
Yes,
What is that?
that's my stomach.
Well, I understand that, but it appears to depict some type of injury, correct?
Yes,
When did you sustain that injury?
when I was climbing over the gate.
Okay, can you describe that injury?
It was like the tip of the wrought iron gate going into my stomach and then like scraping around. Just like as I climb over it, kind of made a hook.
Okay. So yeah. Now, as you're on the gate, are you able to hear anything coming from the home?
No,
You don't hear her screaming?
no,
And so after you climb over the gate, where do you go?
to the next door neighbor's house
Why?
because we just met him and I was trying to get to a phone.
And I have a DVD with the name Michael Herman, has labeled 2 ring videos for 2080 Mound and 2 911 calls dated February 15, 2020. May this be my people's next in order, number 21. And I have a transcript for 1 ring video, which cannot be marked as 21A.
Yes.
And I have a transcript for a 911 call dated February 15, 2020, approximately 1:11 a.m. May that transcript be marked as 21B?
They're all on the same DVD?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have another transcript for a 911 call dated February 15, 2020, approximately 1:18 a.m. May that be marked as people's number 21C?
Yes.
And I provided court and counsel copies of these transcripts. May I publish the transcript to the jury?
Yes.
So everyone should have 3 transcripts.
Just look at this loser. This guy's a true loser. You got the nerve to say she ruined your life?
1:18, and then there's going to be a ring surveillance transcript.
All right.
I'll give you next copy. So everyone should have 3 transcripts. 1 transcript is just 1 page, but it has 2 sides to it.
And this is how he used to look. Yeah. Insane, right? Big difference. He eating that good in jail like that? Wow. Okay, get back to it. This poor girl. 10 years of living in fear off of this monster. And have the nerve to tell you you ruined his life. Idiot. I just can't stand these type of guys. I can't stand them. They can't handle when you don't want them no more because he was a creep. He was probably putting his hands on her. She couldn't take it. No women's have to stay in a relationship like that. Who the heck you think you are? Resume.
Ladies, I'm ranking this as the top products to help with
I'm loving this judge's microphone. Isn't it cool? It's so cool. The red microphone. I love it. I love it.
I'm sorry, yes, Your Honor.
And Francine, and how are you? And thank you for the blessings, girl. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And how are you doing? Good morning, Donna. How are you? I'm doing fine. And how are you? Yes, it has been a while. But good to see you. Good to see you. I hope all is well on your end. I hope all is well on your end. And thank you for the blessing. Thank you for the blessing. Yep, this is football season. Woohoo. Anybody who watch football, tell me who's your favorite team. Just tell me real quick. And people watching replay, if you watch football, let me know your favorite team. I used to be the Jets. I still am kind of Jets, but I changed over to the Buccaneers. Yes, I did. I'm in love with the coach. Todd Bowles. I'm just in love with the coach. Where he goes, I go. That's my confession. It is what it is. He's absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's get back to this creep.
F3.
Everyone's supposed to have 3 transfers.
Let's take it its way down here.
Yeah.
Down here.
Just pass it back. Extras just get passed around. We should just pass all the extras around. We should just let the extras get passed around. Just pass them around. If you already have them, just pass them around. Yeah, come around.
Anyone missing 111?
You all have 3 transcripts? Yes, okay. Very good. All right, that's fine.
I'm going to show the ring camera video at this time, Your Honor.
That is the 1 page back and front?
Yes.
All right.
One of the 2080 mountain videos has sound. The other one doesn't. That's why we only have password for 1 ring video.
Got it.
You see the timestamp at the bottom right corner?
Yes.
That timestamp shows about 1:08 in the morning and some seconds. Does that appear to be around the time that you went there?
Yes.
And is that you on the video?
Yes.
And how are you feeling at that point when you're knocking on that door?
A little defeated and just really stressed out.
Why do you say I feel defeated?
Because first of all, I couldn't find my phone. And then
Where did you leave your phone?
in my room.
Did you take any keys with you out of your room?
No.
So why didn't you take your phone or your keys out of your room before leaving?
Well, I couldn't find my phone. I wasn't thinking about keys by the time I was leaving.
And so you knock on this door, and does anybody respond?
No.
Let me play the second ring video clip. This one will not have a transcript.
Okay.
On that ring video, it appears that you leave that area, that particular home, and where do you go?
Across the street to another neighbor's house.
And why did you do that?
Because I thought they might be home and I'd met them.
And looking here at people's number 1, does that show the area where that other home's located?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Does it?
Yes.
Can you point with your finger where that would be?
On this house here.
So it's the house right in front of 2078 Mount Street.
Yes.
And so did you have to go through a gate, or how did you get to that other house?
I had to go through a gate.
Did you have to, was it locked? What did you have to do to get past the gate?
Just open the gate and walk through.
And what did you do at that point?
I rang the first doorbell, which I realized didn't make any sound, and then realized there was a second doorbell to the right and rung that and heard it make a sound.
And then what happened?
Nothing.
Did anyone respond?
They did not.
How did you feel at that point after you knocked on the second house and no one?
Want to reduce your plastic use? Easy.
Really worried
Why?
because time was ticking. I was worried what was happening to Amy.
So what did you do next?
I actually was looking around potentially for a rock to throw through a window because I felt they were home and maybe just ignoring it because it's so late. Then I saw somebody walking up the street listening to headphones.
Can you describe this person?
Yeah, it was a black guy walking up the street, taller than me. Yeah.
And was this on Mound Street?
Yes.
And did you approach this person?
Yes.
And what did you do or say?
I asked him if he could call the police.
And what did he say?
He said yes, or yes.
Did he let you borrow his phone?
Yeah. I was going to say, really, I think I'd asked him if I could call the cops. I can't remember if he could call the cops, but I remember I was scared at first because one of the things I kept thinking was there could be more than one person, and maybe this is someone involved. So I was really standoffish. I made him call the cops, and I realized pretty quickly, okay, he's cool, and took the phone from him. I was scared to get too close to him at first.
And where were you when you borrowed the phone from this gentleman?
Right in front of pretty much right, catty corner, right in front of this house. But
When you say this house, these houses have numbers on them. Can you tell us which one?
Well, I was right in front of. I was right here, right in front of this house across the street.
Okay, so you're talking about the house in front of 2078, across the street from 2078.
Yes. Yeah.
And from that distance, at this point, when you're with this gentleman, are you able to hear any sounds from Amy's house?
No.
And how much time has passed? Do you?
Captain said, Donna, will you ever do a video on the woman lying about being smashed in the face with the brick? That is an interesting story. You know what? I'll probably do something during the week, Captain. I'll do something with that during the week. Jack had did some commentary on Clubhouse, and I, did it with him. But we can do something else again during the week. So give me some time with that, because that was something else. Oh my gosh! How you gonna get hit with a brick and your face is just swollen? Where's the blood? Where's the stitches? Come on, really? But okay, give me some time next week. All right, Captain? I'll do it. All right, let's get back to it.
How much time could you estimate has passed from the time you left Amy at the house to when you're now talking to this gentleman about borrowing his phone? Approximately.
I would estimate maybe in between 5 and 10 minutes. It's the best I can estimate.
Does he immediately let you borrow his phone?
Yes.
And is 911 called?
Yes.
Going back to People's Exhibit number 21, I'm going to play the first 911 call, which is 1:11 a.m. As you will hear in the audio. And I'm going to give you a copy of the transcript and have you read along and ask you questions, Mr. Henry.
I don't know. I just had to run out of the house. I called my daughter. I couldn't find her. Why did I find Amy?
How was the assault? What happened?
I don't know. I was downstairs. I was screaming. I was leaving the house here.
Okay, you have to answer questions. Okay, they're very important. What exactly happened? You didn't
I
know.
know this. What?
Are you ready to answer my question, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Did you see anything?
No.
Okay, so
No, I heard her screaming, and I heard her being...
All right, so I'm going to send out that somebody's screaming. Okay, since you didn't see anything. You don't know if she's being attacked or not sure.
Yes, I know you did it. I heard her thrown to the ground.
Okay, all right. So 2086 Mount Street. Is it a house or an apartment, sir?
It's a house.
Okay. And is this, who's screaming inside?
Let me pause it at 1 minute and 5 seconds. Now here, you tell the 911 operator that on line 19, I heard her screaming and I heard her being, what were you going to say?
Objection calls for speculation.
What, do you know what you were going to say, sir? You have a recollection of what you were going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say choking.
What?
Where it says I heard her screaming. I heard her. Actually, I was being attacked.
What?
I heard her being attacked. I don't know for sure. No, what I was going to say. I can't complete that thought. I mean, I know generally, but I don't know the exact word I was going to use.
Well, you don't have to tell us the exact words, but what was your thought at that point, if you remember?
Objection irrelevant.
This thing, this one, okay.
Looking at line 23, where you say, I know she was being attacked, I heard her getting thrown to the ground. Is that what you remember happening that night?
Yes.
Can't think right now. Amie Harwick.
I mean, who is she to you, sir?
See my roommate.
Okay. Is she screaming for help?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and your name?
Michael Harwick.
And what is your callback number, Michael?
I don't have my phone. This is somebody else's phone.
Okay, will it be okay to contact you back at this phone?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. And so you're also hearing somebody hitting her? Is that correct?
Yes, I heard something like that. Yes.
Okay.
She wouldn't answer.
I want to pause it at 1 minute and 40 seconds. Right here on line 12, when the operator's asking you, and so you're also hearing somebody hitting her, is that correct? And you say, yes, I heard something like that. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm thinking when she got choked and thrown to the ground. 'Cause
she's gonna send out a restraining, okay, since we don't know what is going on. Yes. All right, and where are you gonna be? So you can direct me. I'm right up front. Are you black, white, Hispanic, or Asian, so they know who to look for? What now? Are you black, white, Hispanic, or Asian? White. Okay, and what color shirt will you have on? White. Okay, that way they can find you, okay? Yeah. Okay, Michael. Bye-bye. Bye.
Looking back at page 2, where you said, line 13, you said, my God, I'm going to hang up on this bitch. Why did you say that?
I felt really defeated, and I just wanted somebody there quick. I knew something was really wrong.
Did you feel that the operator was believing what you were saying?
No, and it was again part of just feeling defeated, like here we go again, you know.
We're going to play the second. Now, after you make that 911 call, what happens?
I go to the house, and I'm starting to yell up to the window.
You go up to which house?
Amy's house.
And so are you in front of your house?
Yes.
Okay. Are you right outside the gated area?
Yes, I'm in the driveway, right up front.
By the way, could you see if there are any lights on the third floor?
Yes.
Guess what?
Yes, there were lights on the third floor.
On which?
On the third floor, into that media room area.
You could see the light.
Yeah, I was trying to look in from the driveway. I was backing up and trying to get an angle.
I know we're on fast speed, right? But you can still see it, right, BG? He is still scared and traumatized from it. You can tell, right? I can see it too. Imagine, BG, what is wrong with these people? Almost 10 years and you still obsessed over this woman? You know, there's women too. So I don't want to be like, just saying the men and stuff. But people really need to get a life, get a hobby, do something with yourself. Focus on something. Are you kidding me? This poor woman. Ooh, who did I just see just creep through here? You just creep through the back door. I see you, Amber. Welcome, welcome. That's ridiculous. Almost 10 years. All right, let's get back to it, ladies and gentlemen.
Angle to look through to see if I could see her.
Could you see anything as the lights were on the third floor in that media room?
No.
Do you know if the lights appeared to be on in the mid-level, in like the living room area?
Honestly, I can't remember.
Okay. And so you said you were in front of the house, and what did you do?
I was yelling up to Amie.
Can you use the same language you used that night, if you remember, here in the court? What were you yelling at this point to Amie?
I was just yelling her name, like trying to get her attention and see if she stood up and where I could see her. And
Well, can you do it the way you did it that night? I know. Try your best.
I was just yelling like, Amie, Amie. Yeah.
Did you get any response?
No.
Did anyone respond from within that house?
No.
So then, could you hear her screaming or being choked, anything like that?
No.
And so, about how long does that go on before something else happens?
I guess a few minutes, and then I think I called 911 again after that.
Why did you do that?
It just, to me, in that moment, it felt like an eternity.
And what was your intention in calling 911 again?
To hurry them up.
Have the second 911 call.
I see Nurse Chocolate just bust open the back door and hit me with some blessings. And thank you so much, Nurse Chocolate. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessing, blessing. Just bust open that back door. Well, alrighty. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's get back to this creep lowlife. Creep. That's all. When I look at him, just a creep. Resume. Thank you again.
Yeah, I wonder why it's taking so long to get here. Can you provide the address? I can look it up. 2086 Mount Street. It's absolutely incredible. Has something changed since you originally called? What now? What? Has anything changed since you originally called? Yes, he's not answering. Like, I'm outside the fucking window yelling. Nobody's answering. You guys need to get a cop here quick. Sir, the officers are on the way. I'm asking if I can update them.
So there, in that 911 call, on line 9, you're saying that she's not answering.
Yes.
And that you're yelling at the window.
Yes.
When you're saying yelling at the window, is that what you described a few moments ago here in court?
Yes.
And how soon after that 911 call ends do police officers arrive at 2086 Mount Street, approximately?
I think maybe 5 minutes or less.
What happens when the police arrive?
They get out of the car, and I'm explaining to them that we'll need to climb over the fence to get in the house.
And how's your state of mind at that point when you're talking to the police officers?
I thought I wasn't in shock. I was talking to myself, but like, and looking back at my videos, and I was really amped up, like just really, really amped up.
So have you been able to watch body-worn video from the police officers
Yes.
showing you on the body-worn video?
Yes.
And so what do you tell the officers? Do you suggest to the officers to do anything?
To climb over the fence.
You did not have keys to unlock that gate?
No.
And where were your keys to unlock that gate?
In my room.
And so do you have to climb back over that gate?
Yes.
And do the police officers climb over that gate?
Yeah, they climbed over the fence area. More of the fence. I climbed over the gate for some reason.
And then what happens?
We walk around the house and go around back of the house. And
Let me ask you something before we get to that. When you left your room and then ran out to the front, was Amie Harwick anywhere on your patio at that point when you left?
no.
So now that you're coming back, do you make it back to the patio area with the police officers?
Yes.
And what do you see when you turn the corner and see the patio?
At first, I wasn't sure what I was looking at, but it was Amie.
And how would you describe her condition?
Really bad.
What does that mean?
She was struggling to breathe. Her eyes were bulging.
Was she talking?
No.
Did you touch her at all?
I couldn't get too close to her. The officers were kind of directing me.
And how did you feel at that moment?
Beyond defeated. Just the word, to me, in my mind, like every decision I made, the worst case scenario just unfolded. Like I can't describe how I felt. Like there aren't words.
At that time, did you try to provide officers as much information about what you heard that night prior to seeing Amie on the patio? Is that too long of a question? Maybe.
Yeah, can you rephrase?
Did the officers ask you about what happened?
Yeah, yes.
And did you try to tell them to the best of your ability what you had heard that night, that morning?
Yes, my best ability at the time.
Did you tell them that Amie Harwick was afraid of an ex-boyfriend?
I did.
Did you see paramedics arrive at that location at the back patio?
Yes.
Did you see them attend to her?
Yes.
Were you still there when her body was taken away to the hospital?
Yes.
And how long did you remain at the house where you were living at before you were taken somewhere else?
I don't know exactly how many hours, but by the time I left, it was daylight.
Did you show some detectives what happened that night there?
I did. I did.
Did you tell them where you were when you heard things happen?
Yes.
And did you tell detectives, to the best of your ability, what happened that night, that night and that morning?
Yes.
And you previously testified at a preliminary hearing
Yes.
where you were asked questions by the prosecution and the defense?
Yes.
And did you answer it to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Now, as far as what you do for a living, what you were doing for a living at that time, you were selling products, is that correct?
I was kind of selling some products in a media.
And my girl said Buccaneers since 1976. Let's go Bucks. I'm always with the Jets all the way. I just have a thing for Todd Bowles. But since he's over the Buccaneers, yes, I'm with the Buccaneers for the past few years. That's right, Bucks all the way. Well, alrighty. And thank you again for the blessing. Go Bucks! All right, you have an awesome coach. And a good-looking one, too. Lord have mercy. Help me. All right, resume.
For companies looking for product.
What kind of products were these?
Sex toys.
And where were you selling?
Well, that's it. I would more work between the retailers and the manufacturers.
And do you have a 1995 felony conviction for possession for sale of marijuana?
Yes.
How old were you back in 95?
20 or 21.
Had you ever met the defendant who's here in court, Gareth Pursehouse, before?
No.
After Amie was taken away by the paramedics that day, did you ever see her again?
No.
I have nothing for you. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I do have a follow-up question. Looking here at People's Exhibit number, next in order, People's number 22, photograph showing some French doors. Photograph A. Do you recognize what's shown there?
Yes.
Are those the French doors leading into the living room?
Yes.
I'm going to show you another photograph.
Phasix is fully resorbed over time. No permanent material is
B. Much more clear photograph. You see this picture there?
Yes.
You see what appears to be some damage there?
Yes.
Was that damage there before that morning?
No.
Looking at people's next in order, this should be a document with 4 photographs showing a statue. Maybe this is my people's next in order, number 23. Yes. Looking at photograph 23A. You recognize what's shown there?
Yes.
What is that?
It's like this Hindu statue.
And is this next to the fence that divides the property, looking here at people's one, between 2086, where you live, and 2078?
Yes.
Is this towards the back of the patio
It is.
of where you live?
Yes.
Looking at photograph 23B, is that a close-up of that statue?
Yes.
Looking at photograph, well, does this statue appear to have various arms?
Yes.
See that? Looking at photograph 23C, and is that the lower part of the statue?
It's an arm off the statue.
You see that there where there's a photo ID number 9?
Yes.
And looking at photograph D, which is a close-up of that, do you see that there?
Yes.
All right. And this is next to the fence, correct?
Correct.
And so, had you seen that before, that arm had been broken from that statue before that night?
No.
I have that photo.
All right, Counsel?
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Herman. So you had lived with Amie starting in October of 2019, is that about right?
Roughly. I don't remember the exact month, but yeah, roughly.
Okay. And you got to meet Amie through your friend Robert Coughlin,
Yes.
and you previously lived with Robert Coughlin before moving in with Amie.
I did.
And how long did you live with him?
There's relevance.
Well, he's going to be a witness, is he?
Yes.
No, not allowed.
Little over a year.
So when you moved in October, you were traveling to China that month in October?
Yeah, I believe so.
So out of the 3.5 months that you lived there, you were traveling about 50% of the time?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay. And you lived on the bottom floor of this 3-story home, is that correct?
Correct.
So separating your floor, which was the bottom floor, and the area upstairs where Amy's bedroom and the media room were, there was a living area separating those 2 floors, is that
Yes.
correct? And on the living area, there was a living room, a dining area, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a desk area?
That's all on that 2nd floor.
Yes. And the stairway that leads up from your level to the living room area, that kind of divides the house down the middle.
I guess roughly.
And so above your bedroom would be the kitchen, dining room area.
Yes.
And Amy's bedroom would be above the kitchen, dining room area.
Yes, roughly.
Okay. Now, when you were talking yesterday and describing the floor plan of the house, there were a couple of rooms that you discussed. And just to be clear, the laundry room that is adjacent to your bedroom area and the bathroom that you have, is that accessible from inside the house?
It's not.
And the garage that's in the front of the house, the 2-car garage?
Yes.
Is that accessible to the inside of the house?
No.
All right, so when you leave the garage, you have to go around the front of the house to get inside through that wrought iron gate, is that correct?
Or you could go around to the backside to the left too, but yes.
And when you would come home, which way would you usually go back into the house?
Well, I didn't drive, so I just would walk through the front gate.
So you go through the front gate?
Yeah.
And what about Amy's practice? Would she usually go in through the front gate too?
Usually.
And that front gate had to be locked with a key?
It didn't have to be, and it wasn't a lot.
Well, okay, so if you wanted to lock it, you needed a key.
Yes.
Okay, but it wasn't locked a lot.
Right. I mean, if you wanted to lock it, you needed a key, but it had a latch. I mean, it was like a doorknob.
Okay. So it was not routinely locked.
It was at night. We had gotten in the habit of leaving it open during the day for Amazon packages, and then in the routine, the last person in would lock it.
And do you remember saying previously at any point that Amie used to sometimes forget to lock that gate?
Yes.
I think that's the time.
What period are you talking about?
Do you recall saying that on February 15th, 2020?
I don't remember when I said it, but I vaguely remember saying it.
So it would be a true statement to say that Amie often or sometimes forgot.
Yes.
I think that's the time period.
Well, you lived there for a 5-month period, so in the 5 months.
Yes, in the time you lived there.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. All right, so when this incident happened and the first police officers arrived, you were very agitated, is that correct?
Yeah, I guess. It's real hard to describe how I was feeling.
Was it a combination of a lot of feelings?
There's a lot of adrenaline. Yes.
Would you say you were fearful?
Yes.
Would you say you were frustrated?
Yes.
was part of your frustration the feeling that no one was taking your explanation seriously?
That was a part of it.
And that included the 911 operator?
Yes.
And did you feel that same way when the first police officers arrived?
A little. Yeah, at first.
Did you feel that you needed to motivate them to take this seriously?
A little.
Did you feel like did you remember actually getting so frustrated with them that you cursed at them and walked away from them?
I don't remember that.
All right, let me ask you something. Before coming to court yesterday to testify, you said you got to look at some video.
Yes.
So let me just ask you what you did to prepare for your testimony at this trial.
I'm going to object as argumentative.
Did you talk to the prosecutors in preparation for your testimony today?
Yes.
And when did you do that?
I guess yesterday.
And did you speak with Mr. Avila?
Yes.
And did you also speak with his co-counsel?
No.
Did you speak with the detectives?
Yes.
Which detectives?
I'm sorry, I forget your name.
Detective Carranza?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you speak to any other detective?
No.
Did you read any transcripts?
I did.
Do you know how many transcripts you read?
I don't. There's only a couple.
Or did you read your testimony from the preliminary hearing?
I believe I did.
And did you read transcripts of any of the body-worn video?
No.
Did you read transcripts of your interview with the detectives on February 15th, 2020?
I believe so. I don't, hold on, the interview was, yeah, I did.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Okay, and when was that trip before?
When we had the other hearing?
Okay, so that was in 2021?
Yes.
So prior to the preliminary hearing, you had had an opportunity to look at body-worn video,
Yes.
and you got to observe what you said to police officers
Yes.
throughout the evening of February 15th. Is that correct? Or the early morning hours of February 15th?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall testifying at the preliminary hearing that this was at the preliminary hearing in 2021, that you said you don't remember now as well as I did then a lot of things. This has been a little traumatic.
Yes.
And were you saying when you testified to that under oath in 2021 that your memory at the preliminary hearing was not as good as on the date this
I'm going to
event
object as
transpired?
vague as to what he was referring to in page of the preliminary hearing
Well,
transcript.
just in general, his recollection, his memory during the preliminary hearing wasn't as good as the day of the incident. Is that your question?
Yes.
Would that be a true statement, sir? That your memory is better on the date of the incident versus the day of the preliminary hearing?
For the most part, but there were things I remembered after the incident.
But were there things you remembered after the preliminary hearing?
I've obsessed over this so much, it's hard to remember what I've remembered when. I've spent so much time thinking about this, it's hard to remember when, as far as timeline goes.
Right. So you put a lot of thought into this, trying to put the pieces together and figure out what happened.
Objection argumentative.
So say this phrase.
Would you say that have a moment. Would you say that you could be over-processing in your head, but you've been thinking about this obsessively?
Vague as to context.
Well, I don't know what you're referring to, counsel.
Well, do you recall having a phone conversation with detectives on February 20th, 2020?
I don't know the exact date it was. There was a couple conversations, throughout time. But
Okay, so around February 2020, do you remember talking to detectives and telling them that I could be over-processing in my head, but I've been thinking about this for days, obviously?
yes, I remember something like that in the conversation.
And would you say that's been true in the intervening years since this incident has happened?
I'm going
You've been
to
doing the
object
same
as
thing?
overbroad, referring to February 2020 and then referencing other dates.
The court will allow it.
Do you need me to
Thank you,
re-ask?
sir.
You want me to re-ask?
No, because it's been a process. It's really hard to explain. Like the first 6 to 9 months were really difficult. COVID had just happened. I was basically alone with my thoughts for a year and being in lockdown. That was pretty close to when we came here for that first hearing. I was in really bad shape.
And since the preliminary hearing, you said you have not remembered any new details?
Vague as to new details.
Just details in general about the incident?
Yes.
Okay.
I did remember a couple more details.
And you testified to them today?
No.
Let me ask you this. first officers who arrived at the scene, did you tell them that you heard muffled screams?
I assume so. I don't remember exactly word for word what I told the officers.
So it's your recollection that you did tell them you had heard muffled screams?
Objection, this takes the testimony.
Right, it's the same. That's pretty.
So you don't know whether or not you told them?
I don't remember how I told them.
Okay. Did you tell the first officers who responded that Amie was yelling the entire time? She was upstairs yelling when I ran out of the house.
Yeah, I don't remember that specifically.
And today you testified that she was not screaming the entire time. Is that correct?
Yes.
The second responders that came, did you tell them that you heard muffled screams?
I don't
I'm
even
going to object if he was asked these questions.
Well, the question isn't whether when he was asked the question, but whether he told them. Whether it was because of a question that was posed or he told them on his own. Doesn't the court allow it?
There was a lot of questions from a lot of people. I can't remember specifically. I remember in general telling them what had happened several times to different people.
And you recall specifically telling them there were muffled screams?
No, I don't remember specifically telling them in those words. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Do you recall saying several times throughout your encounters with law enforcement on February 15th that Amie was screaming the entire time and you heard her screams as you ran out of the house?
Compound as to various law enforcement officers.
So I
Court will allow it.
It sounds like you're asking the same question over and over, but I don't remember telling them specifically that I heard her screaming the entire time. I just don't remember saying that specifically.
And your recollection today is that she was not screaming the entire time?
Objection, argumentative.
No. Is that your recollection today, sir?
Yeah, no, there was like a one period where it was like dead silent for a little bit, like. And I'm pretty sure I told the detectives that too.
If I asked you, did you tell the detectives that, what would your answer be?
My answer would be, I'm pretty sure I
told them what?
Told him that she was screaming the entire time?
Yes.
Oh, you were going back to that?
Yes.
I just told you. It's asked and answered that. I don't remember specifically telling them that. But
Okay.
I could have.
Okay. But if that's what you told them, your testimony today contradicts that, correct?
Right, that's been asked and answered. He said it, as he sits here today, she wasn't screaming the entire time. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, that's correct.
Doesn't want it.
Thank you. And with the muffled screams, you have no specific recollection of telling any officer or detective on February 15th that you heard muffled screams?
I can't recall like exactly how I described it to the officers at that time. I could have said muffled screams. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Did you tell any of the officers or detectives on February 15th that you heard the sound of a plate breaking?
And what date was that?
February 15th.
Okay, are you referring to the phone call I had with the
I'm
detectives?
talking about the date, morning of February 15th, where you were woken by Amie
Okay,
screams?
okay, I'm just bad with the date, the timeline part. No, I didn't remember that for a couple weeks.
And who was the first person you told about hearing something break when you remembered a couple weeks later?
It was Robert Koshland.
And after you spoke to Robert Koshland, that's when you called the police?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that important, and Robert felt it was, and told me to call the detectives and tell them.
And isn't it true that on February 20th, the date that you called the detectives, that was the first time you ever told the detectives that you heard anything like choking?
I don't remember. I just don't remember.
How'd you like to own this house?
But your testimony today is that you heard choking on February 15th.
Yeah, and I believe in the 911 call, they cut me off as I'm saying it.
Well, I didn't hear that, so.
Look at the transcript.
So when the 911 operator asked you if an ambulance was needed, you said no.
I said I didn't know.
You didn't know. But if somebody were being choked, wouldn't you think they would need medical attention?
Objection, argumentative.
The level of physicality you were describing, did it cause you to believe that Amie was being harmed?
Yeah, it did.
And so you were convinced that she might need an ambulance?
I was just flipped out, wanting them to get the cops there. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I was just, I could have been thinking better, sure.
You were in a state of panic, is that true?
And shock, yeah.
And panic?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about this won't fall. you told several officers on February 15th that you were in a panic, is that correct?
I don't specifically remember that. I could have.
So far, we've seen a 3D recreation of Amie Harwick's home. Other than the scale, does the 3D rendition of 2086 Mound fail to include outside foliage and furniture and everything else inside the house?
You mean outside the house?
Outside and inside?
I didn't get a good look inside, but yeah, there's missing foliage on the fence on the outside.
Okay. And the trees near the balcony, are those also missing?
I can't remember.
I believe there's been another copy of this, and I'm going to mark this as defense nay. A defense is next in order.
Good. E.
So you testified previously that this is the back door that leads to the living area,
Yes.
and that shows the staircase that goes up to the living room area.
Yes.
We're on a journey to reduce plastic waste and build a better world.
Defense next in order.
Beth.
And is this showing that same staircase from the landing in the living room area?
Yes.
And you can see it has a low ceiling as you descend to the staircase.
Actually, what you're capturing is just where the low ceiling starts, about halfway over.
Elaine says something. I agree with you, Donna, that a person has no life, low self-esteem, and can't handle rejection. It's pathetic. And thank you for the blessing. Thank you for the blessing. It's pathetic. Can you believe this for how many years? And you have the nerve to tell her, you ruined my life. Check them out. Anybody wants to know all the past commentary when I did day 2. Are you kidding me? Well, you're going to be in prison. Forever. Low life. Creep. He's just a straight up creep. That's all he is. He's probably been a creep since he was in elementary school. Just staring at girls. Just staring at them. Stop looking at me. Stop touching me. Stop looking. Yeah, that type of creep. Thank you again, Elaine. I'm going to fast forward this some because we're going to get into the body cam. Because they're going to show the body cam today, too. All right. Let's get it.
More down. It's actually pretty high, right after where you can see. I don't know if you want me to point at it, but that lip at the top.
Yes.
Yes. After that, it's pretty high.
Okay. So that the stairway has a low ceiling.
No, about the last third to half of the stairway has a low ceiling.
And when you ascend the stairs, is this the landing area?
Is that G?
Defense G. Thank you.
As you ascend, yes,
And what is this at the top of the stairs?
it's a statue.
It's a statue? And was that statue present on the evening of February 14th and the morning of February 15th?
It was.
Was this jacket also hanging there?
Yeah, I assume it was. I didn't notice it until like the next day or two.
Defense next in order, H.
HS.
I'm showing you a screenshot from some body worn video.
Yes.
As you can see the date there? 3/5/2020?
Yes.
Is that the date that you did a walkthrough with detectives of 2086 Mound and described for them what your recollections were from the date of February 15th?
I can just assume so based on the date on the photo.
And does it appear to you that in this frozen frame of the body worn video that you're recreating screaming up the staircase?
Yes.
So would this be a fair depiction of you screaming up the staircase, Amie?
I can't remember if that was Hey Motherfucker or Amie.
Okay, so you basically were in the same position for the scream.
I don't remember.
All right.
All right, thank you. So, showing you defense I, is this the same dummy that is at the top of the staircase leading from your living area?
Yes,
And so this is the staircase that leads up to Amy's living area.
it is.
And here is another photograph showing the same staircase.
Is that Jake?
Yes, thank you. This shows the same staircase leading up to Amy's living area from another angle.
Yes.
And I'm going to put something here. Do you know what this is here?
Yeah,
What is that?
that's a camera.
A camera? So it's like a Nest or Nest camera.
Yes.
And here for the record?
I'm pointing to, there's like an antelope head, and if you go down about a little bit, there's like a dark object that looks like it's a figure 8 shape.
Sort of the corner of the roof, looking at the ceiling?
Yes.
All right.
And when police officers arrived and as they talked to you that evening, were you making them aware that there was Nest video to be retrieved to help them in their investigation of this case?
I can't remember exactly when it came up, but I do remember by the morning with the detectives talking about it, making sure that they knew when we were working on that.
I'm sorry, what?
That they knew when we were working on that.
If you have PCOS or a significant
That law enforcement know that there was Nest cameras operating at that time.
Yes, I just remember.
Such a foundation operating at that time.
Well, there were cameras at that time, whether they're operable or not. So I'll stand with respect to that, but I want you to rephrase your question.
Thank you. Were you aware of whether or not they were operating?
Not at that moment, no.
But in the days prior to this incident, were you aware they were operating?
They've been operational since I've lived there.
So you have no, Amy never told you anything about them not functioning properly?
Judge, you're calling for hearsay or negative hearsay?
So sustained negative? Yeah, but it's sustained on here, so I don't know about negative, but it's here sustained.
So do you have any reason to believe that the Nest cameras were not operating?
Such a foundation.
Sustained.
So as far as you know, the entire time you lived there, they were operating?
I actually think they were out a couple times, but they did operate. She had sent me video
You had
of
seen
them.
video in the past?
Yeah,
And was it within like a week of this incident?
I can't remember.
All right, let's take a morning break if you will for about 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
And leave a voicemail message for them.
I did.
And do you remember what you said in that voicemail message 5 days after the first interview?
I think I think that's the one where I remembered that when she was screaming, she wasn't moving or being jarred or jostled, or it could have been the one where I remembered the plate falling, or what I thought was a plate falling.
We're looking at a transcript of that voicemail message. Would that help you remember what you said during the voicemail message?
It would help me remember which call it was.
May I put you on? Yeah. And this is the transcript of the voicemail message on February 20th, 2020. Just read it yourself. Let me know if that helps you remember. Okay?
Yes.
Does that help you remember what you left on the voicemail for the detective?
Yes.
And what did you say at that time?
That was after. I remembered the sound waking me up of what I thought was a plate falling on the floor.
Did you say, I don't think it's going to be any new information or anything to help, but after seeing the door and stuff, and just yesterday, it occurred to me that I remember while I was sleeping, being woken up by what sounded like a plate dropping, and then somebody walking around upstairs. Is that what you told him?
Yes.
So you didn't know if that was helpful or not, but you thought you'd leave that for the detectives.
Yeah, Robert. I wasn't even going to tell them. Robert was the one that told me I should.
Then did the detectives call you back?
Yes.
And did they interview that day, 5 days after the murder?
Yes.
And during that interview, well, counsel's been asking you, when did you say anything about choking? During that interview, at the very beginning, don't you tell the detective 5 days after the murder that she was being choked?
I'm going to object to the term murder, Your Honor, that's a question for the jury.
Sustained.
Killing, after her death.
Her death.
After
Yes.
her death, 5 days after her death, did you tell the detectives that she was being choked?
Yes.
Did you say specifically, I think because when I yelled up her name, I think you put her to the ground as quickly as he could and started choking her.
This, Your Honor, this does not.
All right, he stated that he stated that he did.
Counsel asked, making it seem that this is the first time he's talking about the choking, so I'm trying to rehabilitate.
Does that include the choking?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
This was on February 5th, Your Honor. I was talking to him about February 14th and 15th.
That
I mean,
wasn't
he was
clear.
talking
but-
about February, Mr. Allen was talking about February 20th, and I'm talking about, I've limited my questions to February 14th and 15th.
There's an inference that he's saying this for the first time, there's some question.
Go ahead.
Did you state the following?
Okay, I'm going to fast forward to get to the next person on the stand. Now, who is this? I'm not quite sure. But we're about to find out. Because I'm catching up with y'all.
On page 51, line 25, we can start there. Question by the prosecutor. Looking at People 16, page A, can you describe to the court what is shown here? The top photograph is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The top photograph is item 1, which is the FBI lab description of the syringe, the number 202000954. Number 1 is the laboratory number assigned at the FBI laboratory. So the photograph from the top is the syringe, item 1, described in my check-in notes containing this amber to orange liquid.
So networking is definitely one of those words that we hear.
The syringe is capped, meaning that it has a plastic clear cap that covers the needle. The bottom photograph is a...
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the syringe that he was trying to inject her with. But it's nicotine. You know what, these crazy people, if you try to figure them out, you'll go crazy too. There's just something wrong with them. But I guess this is what he was trying to inject her with before he threw over the balcony. Throw somebody over the balcony. Wow. This is pathetic. This is another one that should have never been born. He should have never been born. Creep. Resume.
Close-up of the liquid in the barrel of the syringe. So if you look to the right-hand side, there's a black rubber plunger. That's the end of the plunger of the syringe. The middle is the orange to amber liquid, and then on the left-hand side is where the needle holder screws into the barrel of the syringe.
And would you describe this as a 3mm syringe?
Yes, it is a 3mm syringe.
And about how much liquid is in that syringe at the time you took these photographs, approximately?
There's approximately 1/2 a milliliter in the syringe of liquid.
Now, aside from receiving this syringe, did you receive some information from the law enforcement agency as far as the conditions in which this syringe was found?
I did. For each submission that comes into the FBI laboratory, there is a written request that comes in with the evidence, that accompanies the evidence. So in that incoming communication, which was actually through the FBI field office in Los Angeles, there was a brief description of the crime as well as where the syringe was taken from.
On August 25th, 2020, did you analyze that liquid in that syringe, which was now FBI item number 1 under the FBI number 2020-00954?
I did.
And can you describe to us how you analyzed the liquid?
I removed the liquid from the syringe and put the liquid into a test tube. I then characterized the liquid in my notes. And if you could follow, I'd like to take my notes out.
The court, if that will assist you.
Yes.
The court, you may reference them. Do counsel have a copy of the notes? Ms. Bernstein?
Yes.
Ms. Bernstein, yeah. Ms. Avila, yes. The court, okay.
Thank you.
Well, Ms. Bernstein, we need you to read that.
I'm behind. What page are you
on?
54.
Page 54, line 17.
I believe so, if it's a 2-page handwritten document.
The court, is that what it is, Dr. Bradley?
There is also an analytical data that you should have 2 pages of handwritten notes, photographs, evidence of analytical data.
Yes, thank you.
The court, people, yes? Mr. Avila, yes. The court, thank you. Look at the materials, Dr. Bradley, see if anything refreshes your memory. Then you can turn it upside down and then testify, if you're able to, from memory.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
As I stated, I removed the liquid and then placed that liquid into a clean test tube. I then, as I said, described the liquid in my notes as somewhat oily, viscosity like water, amber to orange in color, and then I proceeded on to analyze the liquid. The first instrumentation that I used was a Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, abbreviated FTIR. I placed a drop of the item 1 liquid onto the ATR accessory of the FTIR and obtained an infrared spectrum of the liquid.
The court, excuse me. Ms. Jones, are you okay with these terms? The reporter, I'm fine, Your Honor. The court, thank you. Please. Mr. Avila, can you explain the FTIR method of analyzing substances?
Yes, I can. Each chemical is created based on different atoms that have bonds to one another. Some chemicals have a signature FTIR spectrum. Other chemicals do not have a signature spectrum because they are similar in structure to one another. So we can either look at a spectrum and get an idea of the identity of a compound, if it has a unique FTIR spectrum, or we can classify it into a class of compounds. So something such as cocaine or methamphetamine, they have characteristic FTIR spectra that are unique to those chemicals. Something such as oil, like say vegetable oil or mineral oil, they would have very similar spectra. So we could use those compounds into the same class of materials of oils, but we couldn't differentiate one oil from another based on their FTIR spectrum. So I obtained the spectrum of the item 1 liquid, and I used a library search with thousands of spectra, and the most similar spectrum that was obtained in the library search was nicotine. Then I obtained a nicotine standard from a reference collection, and I analyzed that nicotine standard also by FTIR.
Let me stop you there. Is the FTIR method generally accepted a generally accepted method of analyzing chemicals in the scientific community?
Yes, it is.
And how long has it been used by the FBI to analyze chemicals, approximately?
I can't answer that question because I don't know how long, but I would estimate that the FBI has been using not necessarily FTIR because that's a newer technique, but infrared spectroscopy for a period of at least 40 or 50 years.
You discussed that you also submitted a standard. Looking here at page C of this exhibit, people's number 16, but in court it's people's number 24. Can you tell us what is shown here?
Yes, this is the nicotine standard obtained from a reference collection.
And what is the purity of this standard as it's labeled?
As labeled, the purity is 99%.
What does that mean?
That 99% of that compound or that liquid is nicotine. The other 1% I can't attest to.
And how would you describe nicotine as a chemical? What would you say about nicotine?
Nicotine is a drug. It is a liquid, and obviously it's a chemical. It is not a drug that is a controlled substance by the Controlled Substance Act, as is heroin or cocaine, but it is a drug and it is a toxin or a poison.
Why would you say it could be a toxin or a poison?
It is a toxin or a poison because at high concentrations, it is toxic. It can be lethal.
And please complete your explanation how you analyze the sample from the syringe and the 99% pure standard.
So I obtained the FTIR spectrum of the item 1 liquid. Library searches indicate that it's nicotine. I get the nicotine standard. I run that the same way I have run item 1 liquid by placing a drop of an ATR crystal and obtaining the spectrum. And then using the software with the instrument, I'm able to compare the two different spectra to one another by using an overlay of the two spectra. So they do overlay well with one another. There are some indications in the item 1 sample that there are some light differences from the nicotine standard. So I proceed on to another.
Sorry to interrupt. The slightest differences, given your experience, do you know what they may relate to?
I do not. I did not. It wasn't evident to me what those slight differences were in the spectra. And I did not necessarily pursue that.
If you could continue with your analysis. So ultimately, what was the result of the FTIR method for you?
So the item 1 contained nicotine. I proceeded on to a second instrumental technique to pursue the identification of nicotine.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
How many more methods are you going to use to determine whether the item from the syringe is nicotine?
In this scenario,
Nicotine?
these two additional instrumental techniques were used to identify nicotine in the item 1 liquid.
Can you explain the second method that you used?
The second method that I used is DAR analysis in real time, and I used both the item 1 standard, and I introduced the liquid using a capillary tube into the instrument. This instrument provides accurate mass of compounds that are present in the sample, whether it's a solid or a liquid. I then introduced the standard to the instrument. Accurate mass of the item 1, the compound in the item 1 standard.
Is the DART method of analyzing and identifying chemicals, is that generally accepted, a generally accepted method in the scientific community?
Yes, it is.
So if you could continue.
16 standard obtaining the accurate comparable to one another, meaning that the instrument produced the same result.
What does that mean, the same result?
Again, I'd have to look at my notes to get.
With the court's permission, the court, you may, please.
So as I said, the instrument will determine the accurate mass of 163.123, and the nicotine standard rendered a result of 163.123.
How is that significant?
So the accurate mass of the compound present, also a theoretical mass of nicotine that is calculated, and that value is 163.123.
And what else did you do to analyze the liquid from the syringe?
So the last instrumental technique I used was the gas chromatography mass spectrometry. I dilated the item 1 liquid 1 to 100 in methanol, and then I diluted the 1 to 100 dilution again.
Liquid?
Yes. I'm using a methanol to dilute the sample. So to dilute 9 parts methanol to it. So I'm diluting it down 1 to 100. And then I'm diluting that 1 to 100 solution, another 1 to 100 to 10,000 dilution.
Why are you doing that?
The reason I'm doing that is I don't want to overwhelm my mass spectrometer with too much sample. And I don't want to have the concentration of the solution be approximately 100 parts per million. So I dilute my sample 1 to 10,000, and I also dilute my standard 1 to 10,000 using that same serial dilution, 1 to 100, taking that, dilating that 1 to 100, the final being 1 to 10,000 dilution.
Okay, and how does that process this you?
Sure, yes.
And so maybe I interrupted you. After diluting the two samples, what happens after that?
So I take that dilution, I put it into my instrument, and the gas chromatography portion of the instrument will separate any components that are present in that liquid. So if I had a mixture of materials, I could separate out the different components in that mixture using the gas chromatography. That will pass the detector, meaning the components will pass the detector at certain times, and then they will be analyzed by the mass spectrometer. So again, gas chromatography will allow for separation, and then the mass spectrometer will I think, obtain a spectrum and look at that spectrum and identify what particular component is. So in this run where I analyzed item 1 and the nicotine standard, I only obtained one peak for item 1 that was diluted 1 to 10,000 in methanol, and one peak for my nicotine standard that was diluted 1 to 10,000 in methanol. Both the item 1 and the nicotine standard had a retention time that was the same, and that retention time was 5.79 for item 1 and 5.79 for the nicotine standard. And that peak, or that component at 5.79 in item 1 was identified as nicotine, and that peak at 5.79 in the nicotine standard was identified as nicotine.
And this also, the GCMS method, is a generally accepted method to analyze chemicals in the scientific community?
Yes, it is.
And did you do anything else under this method?
Not by GCMS, no.
Did you do any further dilution or testing?
No, I did not. I did take a photograph of the nicotine standard, Eliquit of the nicotine standard.
I'm sorry, the court reporter, I'm sorry?
Eliquit, Aliquot. I feel like I'm in a spelling bee.
The reporter, thank you. The prosecutor, looking here at People 16, photograph B, can you tell us what is shown here?
As I said, I took this Eliquit of the nicotine standard, put in a test tube, and that is the test tube on the right-hand side, and the item 1 liquid is on the left-hand side. And that, again, going back to the beginning of my testimony, is the item 1 liquid that was removed from the syringe and placed into a clean test tube.
Is there any reason, given your experience, for the different coloration of both samples?
There can be a number of possibilities as to why there is a difference in the colors of those two specimens. The one on the left is a larger volume of liquid, which can make something appear darker if there's more volume to it. Also, with chemicals, they can undergo environmental effects, if you will, such as oxidation. So that's another possibility. They could be two totally different chemicals that would render them to be visually different.
Does the color in itself, is that an indicator of a purity or concentration of nicotine?
It can be, but again, there's so many factors that can go into explaining that. It can't be the be-all and end-all to it.
If a liquid, such as nicotine, in the syringe were exposed to conditions outside, let's say outside of a laboratory, like it's out on a balcony exposed to air, can that affect the color of the liquid?
Again, as I testified, environmental factors could have an effect on chemicals, liquid chemicals, solid chemicals, and how they appear visually.
After using these three methods to analyze the liquid from the syringe, what was your opinion as to the liquid from the syringe?
That nicotine is identified within the item 1 liquid.
And given the use of these three methods and the use of a 99% pure standard, do you have an opinion or any reasonable inferences as to the purity of the nicotine in the syringe?
The FBI laboratory does not quantify. It does not determine a value or a purity to a chemical, or whether it be methamphetamine, whether it can be an oil, what have you. That being said, provided that 99% nicotine standard is 99% pure, an inference can be made that because the dilution of 1 to 10,000 for the same sample and 1 to 10,000 for the nicotine standard that was analyzed contemporaneously with the same sample provided comparable results, meaning the magnitude of the response from the instrument as well as the ion ratios that are present that were evaluated, that one can infer from that it has a purity of, say, approximately, 90 to 100%.
The sample from the syringe?
Correct.
And I had sent you a stipulation. I emailed you a stipulation where I had indicated to whether it would be appropriate to say that the sample from the syringe was consistent with the 99% purity standard. Do you remember that?
I do recall that, yes.
You indicated that that was not a proper language to use.
Correct.
And now you're here to explain what is the proper language to use.
Yes. That statement on its own, without some caveats and some explanations, I didn't feel comfortable agreeing to it.
And back on September 3rd, 2020, did you indicate to the FBI liaison for the LAPD that although it's not explicit in your report, the liquid from the syringe appears to be relatively pure nicotine?
I did.
And is that consistent with your testimony today?
Yes, it is.
I have nothing further, Your Honor. The court, Ms. Charlotte, thank you. Ms. Bernstein, cross-examination, please.
Yes, of course. Yes.
What did Elaine say? That must be an awful feeling of being stalked. That's scary. And also Elaine says here, I just love his microphone. That's creepy. That creep was obsessed with her. That's not love. No, it's not. But you can't tell them that. Just ridiculous. Get a life. Get a life. But there's so many people out here that's just so obsessed. You can just go, ladies, you can go out on one date with a guy, and then all of a sudden.
Cross-exam, please. Cross-exam, please. Thank you. May I take my mask off? May I take my mask off again? The court, if that will help you, yes. Ms. Bernstein-Lev, thank you. The court, you're welcome. Cross-examination by Ms. Bernstein-Lev. Good afternoon, Dr. Bradley.
Good afternoon.
How many times have you spoken with Mr. Avila during the course of your investigation in this case?
I would have to ballpark, but I would say perhaps 7 to 12 times.
Did you keep notes of those conversations?
Some of them, yes.
Do you know if those notes have been provided to the prosecution?
Any notes that were provided to the prosecution should have also been provided to the defense. I'm not sure if I'm answering that question correctly.
The notes that you have of telephone conversations, would those be handwritten, or are those detailed in typewriting, lab notes? How would you memorialize those?
Those typically are in what is called our communication log, and those are generated through our, what we refer to as our Forensic Advantage Electronic 1/8.
Okay, so that would indicate how many telephone calls you had with Mr. Avila.
Those would be the recorded notes that are associated with the telephone call with Mr. Avila.
Do you remember the last time you spoke with him about your results on the telephone?
I do not recall.
But you spoke to him in person about your results recently.
I spoke to him this morning about my results, yes.
Okay, did you speak to him in person prior to this morning?
No, today was the first day I met Mr. Avila.
Okay. Now, you did only a qualitative test, not a quantitative test. Is that correct?
Correct.
What is the difference between a qualitative test and what it is determining and a quantitative test?
A qualitative test is identifying or characterizing a material. Let's make it simple and just be a liquid. Identifying or characterizing as best I can of that liquid versus saying that in that liquid I have...
Okay, I'm going to fast forward to the, we still on day 3, so I'm not going to play the whole day 3. But I'm going to fast forward and we're going to get into the next person on the stand. We're just doing recaps. Oh my gosh, where am I supposed to go? Where am I supposed to go? 225. Give me a second here. What am I up to? Let me see. Just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start from here. Okay, we start from here because probably I think someone else is going to come on the stand, and I think the body cam is going to come on. All right, let's get it. Make sure everybody vote.
Related to the analysis of that syringe. The FBI returned to the LAPD the syringe that they have identified under FBI laboratory number 2020-00954 as item 2. So stipulated?
Prosecution as well?
Yes.
Court will accept that stipulation.
People call Officer Physics in stand.
All right.
Okay, so officer coming on the stand. I think this is going to be the one with the body cam.
Okay, thank you. Officer, would approach the witness stand? If you can face my clerk there, please. Thank you.
Do you solemnly state that the testimony you're about to give and cause nothing before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? Yes, sir. Thank you. Please have a seat. Please state and spell both your first and last name.
My name is Daniel Feisek, spelled D-A-N-I-E-L. Last name Feisek, F-I-C-E-K.
All right, people. Do you, counsel? I do, yeah.
Let me pause for a second. Melvia says, you don't have to go out on a date with them. True. I have one next door to me. Wow. He knows not to stand outside and harass me or my friends anymore. You have one next door to you. And you're right. You are so right, Melvia. You don't even have to go on a date with them. Anybody here in the chat, do they know of this movie called Stalking Laura? And it has Brooke Shields. She stars in it. And the crazy guy who stars in it was, oh gosh, what's his name? He played in that old show called, with John Boy, I think the Waltons or something. If you know that movie called Stalking Laura. If you don't know it, look it up. It's probably, I think it's free. Yeah, it is free on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube free, or you might be able to watch it on Tubi for free. I did show it one time on here, but YouTube took it off. I was trying to show it, educational and stuff and everything. But watch it as a good movie. And it was just a, co-worker. All she did was she started a new job. A young girl started a new job. So excited. She finished college. She got a dream job. And just started a job. All she did was like, hi. And all of a sudden he just started stalking her for years. And then what did he do? He was like harassing her. So the human resource was like telling him to leave. But first they was asking her, well, are you encouraging it? It's just ridiculous. But really watch the movie. Maybe I shouldn't tell you the whole movie. I want you to watch anyway. But it's called Stalking Laura. And it stars Brooke Shields. Watch it. It's a very good movie to watch. And it's a good movie if you have a young daughter, kids and stuff like that. Let them, let your daughter watch, because this crap happens. And like you said, you don't have to go on no date with them. Oh my gosh, Melvia. They're all over. I know one lady that I used to work with, and she's working we work together, but she's whatever, just in another department, and saying that she just said hi to a guy in the elevator, and all of a sudden he just started stalking her. He was like, I'm in love. Are you flipping kidding me? This happens, and it happens to men too. Some men out here like, I don't want to be with you no more. It's just not. Next thing you know, she keying his car. She stalked him, trying to get him fired, trying to get him arrested. And, us women, when we want to get evil, we can get evil. All right, let's get back to it. Exactly, Amber.
All right, counsel.
Can you please tell the jury what it is that you do for a living?
I'm a police officer for Los Angeles Police Department.
And how many years have you been a police officer?
Approximately 6.
I want to draw your attention back to the date of February 15, 2020. What was your assignment on that date?
I was assigned to Hollywood Watch 3 Patrol. 6 out of 15 was my unit designation.
And what does that mean that you were assigned to Hollywood Patrol?
Basically, I handle radio calls in a specific area within the Hollywood Hills area.
And did you receive a call sometime around 1:14 in the morning?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what was the information that you received?
The radio call read as a screening woman.
And did you have a partner that day?
I did.
And did the call provide you with any other information other than a screening woman?
From what I recall, no, it was just a screaming woman at a residence.
And did they give you an address to go to?
Yes, I did.
And where were you when you first received this call?
I was at Hollywood Station.
And
Okay, what my girl BG said. Richard Thomas was John Boy. You know what, BG? I can't with you. You just be on point with all of this. I love you, girl. Thank you. Richard Thomas was John Boy. Did an excellent. Didn't he do a phenomenal job? Yes, everybody. I forgot to mention this. This was a true story, and I read about it too. He stalked her to the point. He even, when I read that they showed in the movie, he got an apartment right across the street from her. It was just insane. You remember that story, right? This was your dad's story. I remember being a little girl watching that, and I said, oh my gosh, men get like this? Just for years. Years. So sad. So sad. And all she was just like, hi, just started her new dream job. Legion, you're so happy, you finish college, you get the job of your dreams, you're like, yeah. She's just coming there to work. It's a lot of women that just come to work just to work. They're not looking for no love at the job. I don't date in the workplace. It's just not worth it, because you know why? When you break up, you got to see the person. Then sometimes things get ugly. You know, you come to work just to work. I come to work, good morning, good afternoon, and that's it, and just keep it moving. That's it. And you know, some people want to say they got best friends and close friends at the job. Yeah, that's what you think. I'm going to do a video on that one. Just, you know, just keep your personal life separate from your work life. Just keep it separate. Because it can come back to backfire on you. Let me see what else BG said. What BG says right here. That nutty man was out of control and HR did nothing until they were threatened. Exactly. They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. Still happens today. HR is not supposed to protect us, but they didn't. No, they didn't. Thank you, BG. Thank you. I can definitely get messy. Yeah, it can. It can definitely get messy. Exactly. They're dating at the job. It's just not worth it. It really isn't. I know it's fun. It's exciting. You get to see the person. And then you have that little secret romance nobody knows. It's all fun in the beginning. But when stuff start getting ugly, or you don't want to be with the person, they don't want to be with you, and you got to come to work and face it, you know, when you at work, you know, sometimes you already got enough problems. So a lot of people don't even like the jobs they have, but they got to go to work. They got to work, get money, pay bills, to survive. It is what it is, right? Now you got to deal with this guy, or vice versa, for y'all men, excuse me, my channel's for men and women, dealing with this woman, and you guys see him, they harassing you and bothering you, can't concentrate at work, or whatever the deal is. So just keep it separate. Just keep it separate. I know there's some good looking men at the job. I know, man, y'all see these women be like, oh my gosh. No, just say, oh my gosh, to somebody else who's not in the workplace. It's just let it go. Just let it go. And what she said, girl, we love the same movies. Yes, we do, don't we? Don't we? And I do want to have a movie night, but it's going to be, basically people need to email me. And I'll set up a time that people can email me and they can come on to the StreamYard. But you don't have to be up on the panel or nothing like that. You could be same in the chat. And I'll show some movies because I do want to show some certain movies that's educational that would help people in the dating scene, in relationships, watch out for red flags. But if I show them, of course, YouTube is going to take me down. You can't show these type of movies or whatever. So I'm going to have a day that we do that. And people want to come, they can come. Just hit the link and they can come here. But it won't be, how you say, live on YouTube. Just be on the StreamYard. But you don't have to come on the panel. You can still be in the chat box. You know, like you are now, if you don't want to come up there and talk or whatever. And I just show the movie and give the commentaries, red flags. And one movie I do want to show, the first one is going to be The Burning Bed. The Tracy Thurman story. Oh, Donna something Walchick. I forgot her name. That's another story. Yeah, so those 3 stories I really want to focus on. I think those are 3 really good stories. And then also, there's another story about men get abused too. That was an excellent one. I did do that one too. And I like to do that about men who dealing with domestic violence. But men don't tell. That's what it's called. Men don't tell. Because they look at us as some sort of punk. What do you mean your wife hitting on you? What do you mean? What do you mean? That happens. And there's a lot of men out here. They're not a punk. They just not into hitting women. But I bet you if a man put his hands on, they'll knock him out. But if he says something, it's a problem. That was an excellent movie. It's an old movie, but it's excellent about what men go through at times. All right, let's get back to this. I think this one they're going to show the body cam. And everybody, please, you can email me so I get your email address because that's the only way I could do it to send you the link. All right, let's get it.
Approximately how far is that from 2086 Mountain Street?
I would say approximately 4 to 5 miles.
So how did you get to 2086 Mountain Street?
I don't remember my exact route of travel. But we did use GPS. It gets confusing in the hills.
Okay. Did it take you a few minutes to get up there?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
During the time of night, it was there's a lot of twists and turns up in the Hollywood Hills. And initially we did not use GPS because we knew how to get there. And when we took a wrong turn, we used navigation to get there correctly.
And did you have a body-worn video camera?
Yes, sir.
Activated?
Yes, sir.
With Mountain Street?
Yes, sir.
And have you been able to review the recording of that body-worn video?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I have here a DVD labeled Officer Physic, dated February 15, 2020. That is regarding people's exit order number 28.
Right.
And I have a transcript. It is 38-page transcript. This podcast is 28A.
Yes.
And the video is about 51 minutes or so. May I pass the transcript? May I pass the transcript to the jury?
Yep.
This time I'm only going to pass it out to one juror.
Just look at him. He just, the same expression. He doesn't even move. He doesn't, nothing. He's just dead. This is why women don't like you, because you're a creep. You are a creep. They date you. They realize there's something wrong with you. Something off.
The court has a copy? David, do you have a copy for the court today?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you do have it.
And I'm also going to want to do some commentary. I've been wanting to, and I haven't got to it, on incels. Oh my gosh. I'm so tired of these incel men out here killing women because they can't get a woman. Get out of here.
I'll stop it in a few minutes, just ask you what's going on, okay?
Yes, sir.
And then you're gonna make a right on Longview, I think. Yeah, right. Should we come in?
Body cam. I love body cams.
And then now it's gonna be on the first side. Yep. 250 or 206, 206, I think it's gonna get here. Yes, sir. Can I help you?
I'm going to pause it right here at 1 minute and 6 seconds of the video. Now, do you see the date at the very top corner? It's 2/15/2020?
Yes, sir.
Is that the correct date when this video is being recorded?
Yes, sir.
And now it says, as far as the time, it says 09, 25, and 27. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you know why it gives that time?
We implemented a new body-worn video system since the time of this video, and during this time of the body-worn video, we were on Greenwich Village Mean Time, which is an atomic time zone.
So it's from that particular time zone, you have to calculate what that time would be in Los Angeles.
Correct, which is 7 hours ahead.
So then would this be 1:25 in the morning?
Correct.
So instead of that 9, you have that 1. It would be 1:25 in the morning.
Correct.
Going to continue playing the recording.
No, I heard it. She's screaming. She's thrown to the ground. I couldn't find my phone. Okay, hold on. Okay, so you have access to here? Is there anybody else inside the house?
My roommate.
Just your roommate by yourself?
Yes. Dude, I heard screaming. I don't know if that guy had a gun or a knife. I came running trying to. I couldn't find my phone.
So is there somebody else inside?
Yes. I think there's.
Okay, sir, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Calm down. Calm down. Other than your roommate, is there anybody else inside the house?
I don't know. I don't know. No, I just heard her screaming. I got thrown to the ground. I've been calling for her. There's windows. Nobody's answering. Nothing.
Let's get an additional unit.
Oh, you can hear he's scared. And you're right, BG. He still is traumatized. He still is. Wow. All right, back to the body cam.
Yeah, I know, but... Yeah, I know.
Yes. I can hop the fence, but I mean, the keys were left in the house. I was in the middle of the street.
So why is this? Why can't we get in here?
Because it's locked. Because she came home.
Listen, sir. You need to relax a little bit so that we can get all the information, okay?
Okay.
So how are you planning on getting back in here?
I don't know. I guess hopping the fence and getting my keys.
Let me stop right there.
I hopped the fence and I cut myself on that.
Just before we move on, looking at page 5, line 4, did this gentleman tell you that he heard screaming? It sounded like she got thrown to the ground.
Yes.
And continue to play the recording.
In the middle of the night trying to knock on neighbors' doors. Nobody's answering. I don't have a phone. I keep walking by. I have take a few questions here, right? Well, you don't have a lot of time. I mean,
Sir, so how are we supposed to gain entry to this place?
I guess hop the fence with me. We'll go around back. The back door's open. Let's go.
So where's your key at?
Inside, downstairs. The back door's open.
So you came out this way?
Yes.
Hey, partner, we're gonna have to jump it. We're trying to find a better place that we can jump it. How long ago did you last hear from her? We're gonna have to go right here. Can you hold this? Watch out, there's a tree above you. Pick your head. Use it as a branch if you need to. Don't use this as a solid. Okay, you're good, you're good, you're good. You're good.
At this point, you say on line 26 of page 7, 6815 advised the responding units that we had to hop the fence. We're going to be in the rear of the location. Who are you providing that information to?
To the additional unit that we requested, as well as any supervisors that were responding to the location.
As well as what?
As well as any supervisors that were responding to the location.
And when you met Mr. Michael Herman, who's on the...
He also had his shirt. He was wearing a white shirt with blood stains on the lower abdomen of the t-shirt, as well as like his chest as well.
Okay, did that cause you any concern?
I was concerned, yes.
How so?
So he's saying he lives inside but no way to access it, and he has blood all over his shirt, and but no way to access the house. He's saying he lives there, no identification. So we were being cautious.
Let's continue playing the recording. Thank you.
Sir, come here. Come here. Relax. Take a seat. Take a seat. What was going on tonight?
I've been asleep all night.
Do you know if there's anybody else inside the house?
I don't. Pause it. Can I pause the video at 6 minutes and 44 seconds? Who's the person that appears to be leaning over, what appears to be a body there on the concrete?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, there appears to be another man leaning over what appears to be the body of someone on the patio. Who's that other person that's leaning in asking questions?
That's my partner, Luke Edney.
I'm sorry?
Luke Edney, Officer Edney.
That's what we see on the video there?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Where's your room? This is your room? Yes. Stay here. Listen to me. You need to relax. Okay, you're escalating the situation. You're making it worse for everybody. You need to calm down. Hey, we need to, She's having a seizure. Oh, Jesus.
And pause it at 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Is that your voice saying she's having a seizure?
Yes, sir.
So tell the jury, because we can't see it on the body one. What did you observe at that point?
So I observed her head was tilted to the left, and her head was kind of tucked under her left shoulder, and she had very shallow breaths. There was also blood coming from her mouth, and her eyes were somewhat rolled back into her head.
And you mentioned the word seizure. What did you see in that regard?
Those symptoms are sometimes consistent with someone having a seizure. With oftentimes when someone has a seizure, they bite their tongue and blood comes out of their mouth.
Have you ever seen someone have a seizure?
Yes.
How many times?
Well over 30 times.
Okay, I'll allow the fact that it appeared that she was having a seizure. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll allow something like that.
Did she respond to you or your partner when you were asking her questions?
No, sir.
So it's inside here? Yeah, get these keys. Where are the keys at?
Pause it. Now pausing it at 7 minutes and 38 seconds. Why do you have your guns drawn at this point?
Based on the information provided by the gentleman who lived there, Mrs. Harwick's roommate, stating that there might be someone upstairs, and just the totality of the circumstances, tactically we wanted to render the house safe prior to doing anything else.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to hold up here. Take a seat. You told me to stand over here. All right, I'm going to hold. Go get that open, okay? I'm going to... Yeah. We have an ambulance around, okay?
Gemma, I hope I'm saying it right. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. And welcome to Dawn and Just Being Real. Hey guys, new here and welcome aboard. Trying to find anything on Amie's trial and surprise, such little coverage. Glad find you're all here. Oh, welcome. Yeah, not too many people's covering it, but hey, each his own. But I think this is a great teaching tool with the type of commentary I like to do on my channel, and I think this is phenomenal. All right, let's get back to it.
Do me a favor, take a seat.
Now I paused it at 8 minutes and 20 seconds. At what point did you request paramedics or an ambulance?
My partner at the time requested an ambulance within seconds of contacting Ms. Harwick.
Thank you.
Anyone else inside the LAPD, come out with your hands up. Hey, somebody pat him down, please. Alright, somebody needs to stay with her, and then we need to clean this house. I hear voices, but I can't tell if it's TV or not. Yeah, I already did. Yeah, somebody needs to stay with them. Yeah. Hey, anyone else inside? Is LAPD, come out with your hands up. Alright, guys, hey, so look.
I paused it at 9 minutes and 27 seconds. Just looking back at line 17 of the transcript, you stated, I hear voices, but I can't tell if it's a TV or not. What did you mean by that?
Based on my point of view, I heard echoing of voices coming from inside the house. They were very low and mumbled. So I was just trying to use my senses to identify any other threats inside the house.
Did you eventually make it into Mr. Herman's room?
I did.
And was the TV on in that room?
It was.
Okay, so I'm gonna be contact. Yeah. You're gonna be arresting team. Okay, Barney, you're gonna be less than lethal when it comes to it. Okay. No, not yet. And you're gonna be communications also. Okay. Ready? This room, these two rooms are clear already. I hear voices, but I can't tell. I got an open room. There's a balcony to the top. I got couches. There's a kitchen to the right. Okay, so I'm gonna turn right. Partner, you come with me. Hey, my guys, you cover this side. Okay. You cover straight ahead. Got it? And be advised, there's a lot of dummies. All right, let's do this. Hey, Courtney, come with us, dude. You guys go to the kitchen and to the left. So we're gonna go right. Swing, you hold left. Okay. All right. Kitchen. It loops around. It's gonna go down to the staircase. It goes out back outside. Back down to that.
All right. I paused it at 10 minutes and 55 seconds. Do you see a door there at that point?
Yes, sir.
And is that a door from the kitchen leading towards outside?
Yes, sir.
And is that door open?
Yes.
Did you open that door?
No, sir.
Did any police officers open that door?
No, sir.
So when you first see that door is open?
Yes, sir.
And it seems like it's wide open?
Correct.
Yeah. Hey, blue. Sir, do you see me? All right. Oh, we got to grip this corner. All right, this goes around to the front. All right, let's go up there. Go back. All right. Really? You said you heard her screaming, right? Come on, you sweetie. I got you, Charlotte. Alright, so you guys can move up in unison. Yeah. On you guys. Let's hold it. They're gonna move up in unison. You're good, Pascal. Whenever you guys are ready, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, that's what it's in. You hold that. We'll get this. I got you. Yes. It's quicker. You see it? Oh, jeez. Oh, we haven't cleared the house yet. Yeah, he's holding another.
Pausing at 13 minutes and 40 seconds. You went into the balcony at that point. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you see anything on the balcony?
I did.
Can you tell the jury what you saw?
I saw a syringe with a dark brown liquid.
You want to have 3 photographs here. This is not people get in order.
29.
29A, B, and C. Looking here, people's 29A. That's what's shown there.
Yes.
What is that?
That is the same syringe that I observed.
And is it on this photograph? Is it in the same location where you first observed it?
Yes.
Looking at photograph 29B, is that close up of that same syringe?
It is.
looking at photograph C, you have even more of a close-up.
Yes, sir.
And the way it looks here on C, the color of the liquid was not the color that you observed that morning.
Yes, sir.
And what did you think it was when you first observed it?
I believed it to be black tar heroin.
Have you seen heroin like that before?
Something similar, yes, sir.
All right.
You know, when it's continue to play the.
Hey, Mark, I got to go to the right, both will come to the right. All right, I'll go left.
I'm sorry, possibly. You're telling me, party, there's a full what?
Sorry, I was trying to express to him that there was a syringe because he hadn't made it up to the balcony. I was expressing it to him.
And what were you saying was full?
The syringe.
Okay.
Get the door. Ready? And open it. Ready? Good. You can go for it. You guys hear anything over here? No. This is your floor. Looks like you're in it.
Pause it. All right. Pause it at 14 minutes and 21 seconds. You say looks like urine. What did tell the jury what you actually observed?
I observed a semi-dried puddle of what I believe to be urine due to the stickiness and the color just outside the bathroom and partly in the bathroom. And due to the smell as well, I believed it to be urine.
He said he believed it to be. He didn't say conclusively. Could say that it was urine.
So based on the smell, you believed it to be urine?
Yes, sir.
Was there liquid also there?
Yes, sir.
And also you said it was sticky also.
Correct.
So in your lay opinion, you believed it to be urine?
Yes, sir.
Hey, partner, come here. Right here. Might be attempt suicide.
Has it? Why did you say in that part it might be a suicide?
Because I believe that to be some sort of controlled substance. I believe that she was possibly taking it and under the influence and possibly tried to end her life by jumping off the balcony.
Okay. That was your belief at that time?
Yes, sir, initially.
And your basis for that belief was just the limited information you had at that point?
Correct, sir.
It's code 4 for now, sir. Yeah. We're, yeah. Next one. He hasn't seen it. He didn't know he was here. All I heard was a shout. You heard shout. She falls. So right now, all we have is an impossible time suicide. It's just sketching me out. Yeah, but it's... You thought you heard them from a moment. No, I thought I heard voices. Well, how do you think you heard us? Oh, rain savage? Yeah, that's where the side gates are locked. They're locked out and in. You have to jump in. They're all like... I mean, we searched this place up and down, so... It sounds like she was seated. I know, he started like, he's getting on my nerves, dude. Well, because of the bloody. And so there's a right here. It's on that side. It's on the loaded surrender. So, sir, do you know her history of drug use? No, she doesn't drink. She doesn't drink. She doesn't even drink. So nobody in this house is doing drugs? I smoke pot stuff, yeah. Okay, what do you mean stuff? That's it? Okay, so she's sober completely? She's sober completely. How sure of that are you? I'm absolutely sure. What did she do? Just a roommate? How long have you known her? You know, maybe a year? Yeah, I think she lived with her best friend. That's how we got that. So when you say to her, did you hear other people's voices? It just sounded like she was being handled like I wasn't sure if it was more than one person, but I just didn't want to was dead there, so I ran to go to some help. Couldn't find a weapon, couldn't find anything. But, we talked about me getting a weapon because she saw somebody and she was had a restraining order against her. She said that she didn't, but she felt like it was
Can you pause right there? I paused it at 16 minutes and 39 seconds. Now, the body of Miss Amie Harwick, she's still there on the patio, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that at one point that she was breathing barely.
Yes.
And so why aren't any of you rendering some aid to her at that point?
Due to the initial belief of her falling or jumping off of the balcony, and based on how her positioning was, it appeared to be like a severe neck injury or a severe spine injury.
Again, if you can step a second.
Yes. Now, are you trained to look to arrive at certain situations and determine whether someone needs your aid as a police officer?
Yes, sir.
Has been injured.
Yes, sir.
And are you trained to provide first aid whenever possible?
Yes, sir.
And as part of that training, could you recognize when someone has sustained certain types of injuries?
Yes, sir.
And did you use that experience this time to do just a basic evaluation of Ms. Harwick of whether you could touch her or not?
Yes, sir.
And so what was it that you did?
We decided to not move her due to the belief that it would possibly injure her further due to our belief of a neck or spine injury.
And what led you to believe, based on your training, that she had some type of spine or neck injury?
Based on the way that her body was positioned, the way that her neck and shoulders were positioned.
Can you describe that a little more for the jury, because it's not, you can't really see it on the video. But
yes, sir. So her shoulder, I'm sorry, her chin was tucked underneath her left shoulder very tightly, which is uncommon. Her shoulders were rolled.
Outside of this drink background check experience. Okay, just describe what you saw. Was her neck was you said was under her left shoulder?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Go ahead.
Her chin was tucked underneath her left shoulder very tightly, with her shoulders rolled forward, and we believed initially to be a neck injury based on that.
You can continue to play the recording.
Do you have an ID on your boss? No, it's in my house. What's your name? Michael. H-E-R-M-A-N. Herman? Yeah, H-E-R-M-A-N.
That's it?
First name?
Now, I paused it at 19 minutes and 09 seconds. There appear to be some now other individuals that are wearing yellow pants.
Yes, sir.
Who are they?
That is the rescue ambulance, sir.
Thank you.
Do you know your driver's license number? No. Okay, but it's inside here, right? We can get it. What's the home address here? 2086 9th Street. You know that. You gotta be kidding me, dude. We're facing laying on the ground over there, like fucking, you have to make a lot. Yeah. How tall are you? 5'6". What's your weight? 145. Date of birth? 4/13/73. What's the phone number? 704. Slow down, just 704? 340. 340? 3063. Did she have a boyfriend or anything like that? She doesn't have a boyfriend. She's going on dates.
That is it of that one. There was another body cam. I'm going to show that, but that's the end of day 3. So I'm going to show this other body cam, and then I'm going to let y'all go. Alright, just give me a second to set it up. Enjoy the music while you wait. We're going to play. Except the other one. Okay, now this one I'm showing here is, now this one, what does it say this one is? Let me see what it says. It says crime scene body cam, sex therapist Dr. Amie Harwick's home search after murder. Okay, so this is after the murder. All right, let's see this one. This one might be a little bit, yeah, this is different, right? Yeah, I think it's different. All right, we're gonna watch this one. How long is this one? This is, it's about 11 minutes. I'm gonna slow the speed on this one. I'm gonna put this speed on 1.25 for this one. Okay, and let me just read. Let me read the poll real quick before I end up forgetting and cut this off. We have 17 votes, ladies and gentlemen. And the question I ask is, have you ever been a victim of stalking? We got 65% says, oh yes, Donna. Then we have 6% said currently. Now, I was hoping nobody pressed that one, but whoever is currently, please, I hope you're getting some sort of help. Keeping notes, times, dates, everything. Just keep a full journal of everything that's happened. Let somebody know. Have like a hidden cell phone or whatever. Make sure you're letting the police know. Just keep a record of it, please, please. If you need any help, that I can give you any kind of suggestions or anything, please email me. Alright, and I'm going to put the number flashing up again. I was flashing at the bottom. There's a number that you can call. Anybody's a victim of domestic violence and stuff. Please. No one should not live their life in fear because of these low-life piece of crap monsters out here. Okay? Oh gosh, I hate that. I know somebody clicked that one. Alright, and 37% says, no, I haven't. But my prayers to the person who said they're currently going through it. People really need to just get a life. Okay, let's get back to it, ladies. This is the last clip I'm going to show. That I'm going to let everybody go here. And thank you for being here. Make sure you hit that like. All right, let's get to it.
Appears to be a body there on the concrete.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, there appears to be another man leaning over what appears to be the body of someone on the patio. Who's that other person that's leaning in asking questions?
That's my partner, Luke Edney.
I'm sorry?
Luke Edney, Officer Edney.
That's what we see in the video there?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Where's your room? This is your room? Yes. Stay here. Listen to me. You need to relax. Okay, you're escalating the situation. You're making it worse for everybody. You need to calm down. Hey, we need to, Where she's having a seizure. Oh, Jesus.
I paused it at 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Is that your voice saying she's having a seizure?
Yes, sir.
So tell the jury, because we can't see it on the body one, what did you observe at that point?
So I observed her head was tilted to the left, and her head was kind of tucked under her left shoulder, and she had very shallow breaths. There was also blood coming from her mouth, and her eyes were somewhat rolled back into her head.
And you mentioned the word seizure. What did you see in that regard?
Those symptoms are sometimes consistent with someone having a seizure. With oftentimes when someone has a seizure, they bite their tongue and blood comes out of their mouth.
Okay. Well, have you ever seen someone have a seizure?
Yes.
How many times?
Well over 30 times.
Okay, I'll allow the fact that it appeared that she was having a seizure. Is that what you said, Thompson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll allow it like that.
Did she respond to you or your partner when you were asking her questions?
No, sir.
So it's inside here? Yeah, get these keys. Where are the keys at?
Pause it. Now pause it at 7 minutes and 38 seconds. Why do you have your guns drawn at this point?
Based on the information provided by the gentleman who lived there, Mrs. Harwick's roommate, stating that there might be someone upstairs, and just the totality of the circumstances. Tactically, we wanted to render the house safe prior to doing anything else.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna hold it here. Take a seat. You told me to stand over here. All right, I'm gonna hold. Go get that open, okay? I'm gonna. Okay. Yeah. We have an ambulance in route, okay? Do me a favor, take a seat.
Now I paused it at 8 minutes and 20 seconds. At what point did you request paramedics or an ambulance?
My partner at the time requested an ambulance within seconds of contacting Mrs. Harwick.
Thank you.
Are we watching the same thing? Because I'm looking on the cabs. They said like it was 2 body
Anyone else
cams.
inside of the LAPD, come out with your hands up.
No, it's different.
Hey, somebody pat him down, please. Alright, somebody needs to stay with her, and then we need to clear this house. I hear voices, but I can't tell if it's TV or not. Yeah, I already did. Somebody needs to stay with them. Yeah. Hey, anyone else inside? Is LAPD? Come out with your hands up. Alright, guys. Hey, so look up.
I paused it at 9 minutes and 27 seconds. Just looking back at line 17 of the transcript, you stated, I hear voices, but I can't tell if it's a TV or not. What did you mean by that?
Based on my point of view, I heard echoing of voices coming from inside the house. They were very low and mumbled. So I was just trying to use my senses to identify any other threats inside the house.
Did you eventually make it into Mr. Herman's room?
I did.
And was the TV on in that room?
It was.
Okay, so I'm gonna be contact. Yeah. You're gonna be arrested. You're gonna be arrested until you're gonna be less than lethal when it comes to it. Okay. No, not yet. Hey, you're gonna be communications also. Okay. Ready? These 2 rooms are clear. I hear voices, but I can't tell. Got couches. These are kitchens to the right. Okay, so I'm gonna turn right. Partner, you come with me. Hey, podcast, you cover this side, okay? You cover. I'm going. Hey, be advised, there's a lot of dummies. All right, let's do this. Hey, we're gonna come with us, dude. You guys hold that, okay? Or podcast, you hold that. So you come with us, okay? All right. We got doorway to the right, in the middle of the kitchen, and to the left. So we're gonna go right. Sweeney, you hold left, okay? All right. Kitchen. It loops around. It's gonna go down to the staircase. It goes out back outside. Back down to the.
All right. I paused it at 10 minutes and 55 seconds. Do you see a door there at that point?
Yes, sir.
And is that a door from the kitchen leading towards the outside?
Yes, sir.
And is that door open?
Yes.
Did you open that door?
No, sir.
Did any police officers open that door?
No, sir.
So when you first see that door is open?
Yes, sir.
And it seems like it's wide open?
Correct.
Yeah. Hey, blue. Sir, did you see me? All right. Oh, we got to clear this corner. All right. Yeah, let's go. All right, this goes around to the front. All right, let's go up there, and go back and talk out to you. All right. Really? He said he heard her screaming, right? Come on, you two. Podcast, you Charlie? Right here. Yeah, it's not for us to the master. Alright, so you guys can move up in unison. Ready? On you guys. Just hold it. They're gonna move up in unison. You're good, podcast. Whenever you guys are ready, go ahead. Go back. Yeah, that's what it seems like. You hold that. We'll get this. I got you. It's clear here. You see it? Oh, jeez. Well, we haven't cleared the whole house yet. Yeah, he's holding another.
Approximately 13 minutes and 40 seconds. You went into the balcony at that point, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you see anything on the balcony?
I did.
Can you tell the jury what you saw?
I saw a syringe with a dark brown liquid.
You want to have 3 photographs here. Here's the people that's in order.
29.
29A, B, and C. Looking here at people's 29A. That's what's shown there.
Yes.
What is that?
That is the same syringe that I observed.
And is it in the, on this photograph, is it in the same location where you first observed it?
Yes.
Looking at photograph 29B, is that a close-up of that same syringe?
It is.
And looking at photograph C, is that even more of a close-up?
Yes, sir.
And the way it looks here on C, the color of the liquid was not the color.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let y'all go. That's the end of it. And Crystal going in over here. She said mix it with oil too. You know, it's just ridiculous about with these stalkers and stuff like this. I've been a victim myself. Oh my gosh, I could tell you some stories, but we're not gonna get into that one. But you know, if anybody here and someone who had clicked on there, please go and get some help. Get some help. No one should not live their life in fear, have to deal with this crap. But I know one thing, please keep a journal of everything. Let somebody else know so they can know about it. You know, what you're going through. So it's just, oh my gosh, it's just so hard. It's really, it's insane. It's insane. And I don't understand. And I was like, well, I was so intrigued about the story because like they broke up how many years ago? This was a long time ago. And you didn't have nothing to do, but you was sitting here just obsessed over her. And then you have the nerves to say that you ruined my life? Are you flipping kidding me? She went on her life. She wasn't even thinking about you. And that's what they can't stand. It's all about control. Control. And it's not love. I don't know who said that. I think Melvin said that one. You know, saying it's love. No, it's not love. That's a sick love. That is a sick, twisted love. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I'll let y'all go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging. Let me check the votes again. Did anybody else vote? Let me read that off real quick. It went up to, I forgot what it was before, but it says 20 now. Just let me read it off again. Have you ever been a victim of stalking? And 55% said, oh yes, Donna. 5% I'm currently. I didn't want nobody to click that one. And 40% says, no, I haven't. And thank God. And if you have children, teach your children about this too. Because the schools are not going to teach them. Teach them about it. Teach them. And like I said, is make sure, you know, people, they, you know, email me and stuff. Because like I said, I want to have a day, you know, that we're going to watch some movies. And I said certain movies I want to show that be educational. That's dealing with, you know, domestic violence and stalking too. But I can't show it here on YouTube. But I could do it on the StreamYard. And like I said, you won't have to be on the panel. You can still be in the chat like you normally do, like right now. But it just won't be live on YouTube. It'll just be us watching it. And it'll be educational. Because my channel's about teaching people to help people to date smart and not thirsty. And be aware of the red flags. You know, so you can have yourself a healthy, good relationship. Because there's a lot of sick women out here and there's a lot of sick men. And not everybody who comes into your life has good intentions. They have evil intentions. And another thing to y'all women, stop letting these low-life, dusty piece of crap of a men, ex-convict men, coming in your home around your children. You really need to stop that. You really need to stop it. Nobody's saying that you shouldn't have love and you should not be in a relationship, but stop bringing them around your children. Your kids don't have to be bothered with this. These men is just crazy. And you bring around your children. You're supposed to date for a while, get to know the person, but you moving them in your home? Are you kidding me? Why are you moving them into your home? Been dating them for a couple of months. You know, it's not all about that wood stick, okay? Oh boy. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, let me stop talking here. Amen. We need to discuss this more. Exactly. And that's what my channel's about. Like, I pick, certain trials, and I usually focus more into the relationship aspect of it. That's why I pick certain trials. And this one here was dealing with the stalking and for so many years. And when I got into the ham hock, the reason why I got into that one so much is, of course, Breasia. But it was focusing on how these women just let their kids be with anybody. And he's a SO. Yeah, SO. Right? And how she wasn't put first. And how was, Breasia's mother, she just had Breasia. It was a couple of months, then you meet this ham hock, and then you less than a year you get pregnant by him. You barely know him, and he was a piece of crap, and he was a SO. So let me not get into that. When we focusing on this woman right here, and it's sad, it's tragic how she died. It shouldn't have happened to her. You lived your life all these years in fear. In fear. You piece of crap. You low life. You look like a lord. And there you go, Strong. Thank you, Donna, for all that you do. And thank you for being a great mod, too. Thank you. And sorry I came in so late. When will you stream again? It's okay. Just thank you for being here. It'll be like during the week. I won't be doing anything else, this weekend and stuff. Be during the week. So everybody just stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, hit the alert, check the community posts and all that good stuff. And if anybody needs to reach out to me, look in the description. You will find my email if you have a viewer's request or anything like that. But Captain, I don't know if you're still here, but I will do something about that, the brick face lady. Yeah, but Jack had covered that, so I, co-host with him on Jack. I co-host with Jack on the what I'm trying to say, the Clubhouse. So, but I'll do something on my channel, something brief, and talk about that lion heifer. Another one like Carly Russell. I don't get it. Just don't get it. And everybody have themselves a blessed and a safe evening. And like what I always say is, ladies and gentlemen, date smart, not thirsty. Be careful who you get involved with, and try not to date in the workplace. I know some workplace relationships can work, but you gotta really be careful. It can get ugly when you two break up. That's all I have to say. Oh, I hear the children out there. I know y'all hear the background children. Somebody's having a good time. All right, bye, adios.